Okay, here we go. Clearing that throat. Welcome in. Hold on. Let me see something real quick. Give me a second here. Probably shouldn't have hit go live. I wasn't exactly 100% ready. Hold on. All right, never mind. Welcome, everybody. It is The Rant with me, Pugs Moran, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery in Dallas's fantastic design district. We do this show every Monday through Friday, around about noon. Today it's at 2. Well, a couple of reasons. One of the reasons, honestly, is because I'm going to be here long today. I've got a couple of shows that I'm going to be doing, a couple of things behind the scenes. So I'm going to be here till about 10 o'clock tonight. So I didn't really want to come in at my normal time, which is around 9:30, 10. You get it. So here we are in the middle of the week. This might happen regularly with Wednesday shows. They'll be airing around 2 o'clock instead of noon. Every other day we're going to target noon, right? But Wednesdays might be 2 for a while. I am having some eye issues. Oh my God, you guys. Can't see anything. Here's what happened. I walked in here today and I turned the studio on, and for some reason, the studio lights, which are these big giant TV studio lights that we have here, they were on high. I don't know how they were on high. So I sat down, I hit the lights, and I look up and boom, I am just completely blinded. I've had white spots in my eyes now for the last 10 minutes. Oh, you get before you get like a migraine or something. Well, I don't get migraines, but I did do something stupid to my eyes and now they're still adjusting. So please bear with me. I can't see anything. Like without my glasses, I can't even see the chat room. I see blur. Blur says it looks like hi, baby. Who is it? Now let me put these on. Oh, it's Peter. Hey, Peter says hi in the chat room. Leslie's in the chat room. Barney's in the chat room. Sports Browser in the chat room. Adam is in the CC. Adam is in the chat room. Rainy Days. Whoa, they appropriately named Rainy Days. It's the other reason the show's getting a little bit late of a start today. Good Lord, here in North Texas, is it a monsoon out? I was just, it's dark. It is just, the streets are flooding. These drops are massive drops. I didn't want to go out. The dog doesn't want to go out. It's bad outside if the dog is sitting in the front window or, sitting in the front window and then I stand by the door and I go, you want to go out? And she just looks at me and lays down. That's what she did. She was like, no, I do not want to go out. I don't speak English, so I'm a dog. I don't know how to respond to you standing here in the doorway saying, do you want to go out? So I'm just going to go lay in my bed. That ought to tell you. And it did. It's nasty outside. We're going to be here all day. Power's out all over the design district. I thought, oh, shit. Am I going to get in there? And there's going to be no way to do the show because the power's out. All the street lights are blinking red. Hey. It's going to be like this here in North Texas for the next, 10 hours? We're getting all the rain. We're getting all the rain for the year in one day. It's coming today. Peter's checking in. He's got some updates on this severe weather that we're experiencing here in North Texas. What do you got for us, Peter? Peter says it's flooding in Haltom City. Stopped raining just now. That's okay. It's going to start again, man. This rain, my eyes are getting better. My eyes are totally getting better, which is awesome. Hey. Hi, Toronda. Toronda's in the chat room. Come on, everybody. Fill into the chat room. By the way, do none of you guys have friends? I always say this. Why don't you invite your friends? Why don't you invite your friends? Say, hey, man, hang out with us during the day. We talk in the chat room because the chat room is the thing. Me doing this is just stupid. This is just background noise. I've noticed that the chat room has become a real social center. So invite some friends. Come on. Maybe we'll get some more listeners, my Lord. Hey, by the way, speaking of quality listeners, we got an executive producer today. That's right. Every day we award the title of executive producer to the one person who steps up and says, I support this kind of talk radio. Today's executive producer is Peter. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate that. Peter, here's the thing. It's Pledge Week, right? So I should probably put the Pledge Week scroll down so you can all be kept informed as to where we stand in our monthly endeavor. It's Pledge Week. Once a week, what we do here, or once a month on this show, we say, we need your help. We need your money. We need your support. We do a kind of talk radio It doesn't really exist. There is nobody that supports talk radio that isn't about politics or at the very least sports. We try to do guy talk. We try to do lifestyle talk. We try to do current events, hot topic talk. It's what we do. So what we do is we make it an option. You can support this show with a tip. You can go to either Venmo or Cash App. Those are the two preferred ways. Although I need to get a PayPal card because I got money in my PayPal, but I don't want to get to it. Okay. It's not a lot. It's like $40, but I still, every little bit helps. So what we do during Pledge Week is we tally it up. We say, what does this show need to continue for a month, another month? So on Monday, that number was $250. So that in my head, that says, look, we got 5 shows. We got to make $250. We need to average $50 a show. And I'm here to tell you that thanks to people like Peter, we're making it. We're making it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We're making it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's a TV show from the 70s starring Adrian Zmed. Making it. All right. So thank you so much. I think today we need to raise $40. And if you are the big tipper of today's show, by the way, like Peter out tipped everybody else. If you are the big tipper of today's show, please, if you could drop a little, you'll be executive producer. And to do that, drop a little something. Okay, that's it. I can't shake the can. Where's my can? I had a can the other day. I had a little tin can that I was going to use for an effect. All right, never mind. Hey, folks, trivia was last night. We had so much fun at the Back 9, 4060 Beltline Road every Tuesday night at 7:30. A little bit of a smaller crowd, gotta be honest. Was very scared. But, man, did we have a good tournament last night. We had a 3-way tie going into round 2. And the prize was a big bag of edibles. That's right. Some of these Delta 9 loophole legal edibles get y'all fucked up. It was like $100 bag of edibles that went to the winning team. Second place got gift certificates. We have gift certificates for the Back 9. So, you can come in, you can drink, and if you win, maybe you get your bill paid for. I'm not sure how it works, but that seems to be a way that I would try and do it. Last night's winner was the Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club, 2 dudes who hang out at the Back 9. They've been playing every week. They seem to be really getting into it. They're not even listeners of the show. Hell, they don't even know that I do this every day. But they're 2 dudes that hang out at the bar every Tuesday night, and they've started playing trivia. And guess what? Last night they won. Woo! Congratulations to the Breakfast Club. Congratulations to Bill, who came in 3rd. Yeah. Win, place, or show, baby, every single time. That's what it's all about for the king of trivia here in the chat room. The lovely Bill Folk. I don't see Bill today. I don't know where he is. All right, we'll do it again next week. Make your plan to come on out and play trivia with us. Man, last night I talked to E's wife. E's wife is a lovely lady named Wendy. And so I said to her last night after trivia, she's like, give me some of the questions. And I'm like, what? And I'm thinking, oh God, what is this going to be? I rattled off about 10 questions. She got every single one of them right. Every single one of them right. And let me tell you something else. She was a little in the bag because she's going on vacation and not working. And last night was like the first night of vacation. So she'd had a couple of glasses of wine, as hardworking mothers often do. And she nailed it. 10 out of 10. Holy shit. And I'm like, Wendy, you realize that you would have dominated last night? You would have absolutely crushed it. So I'm like, Wendy, get a bunch of your hot friends, because she's got hot friends, because she's hot. I'm like, get a bunch of your hot friends. You come down here and get stuff all gussied up. You sit at the table and you dominate trivia. Show all these people what a smart woman, mother of one. That doesn't sound impressive, right? Look, she's a mother of 4. I mean, that sounds impressive. Mother of 1 doesn't sound impressive, but it should be. It should be. All right, trivia was fun last night. Peter says he's going to make it to trivia sometime. He doesn't really have to because he's the executive producer. If he wants to support the show in the monetary way and not actually come out and help us build a following so we can do more of these off-campus things, if that's Peter's decision, well, that's fine by me because Peter is today's executive producer. All right, if you want to be tomorrow's executive producer or help us get to our goal of $40 raised today, all you got to do is be the big tipper. Be the big tipper, and you will be tomorrow's executive producer. How do you do that? Well, I'll show you. Boom. You can just go here. All right, let's get rid of that. It's scrolling. I'm so terrible. Oh, God. All right. Talk radio for normal Americans. That's what we do here. We talk about things in a non-political way. We don't care about politics. I don't care how you voted. I think they all suck. What we do is I perform it as a stream of consciousness. My voice is going, by the way. This is going to be awful. I got to record Shock House tonight. Shock House Dallas, episode 2, streaming tonight at 6 o'clock. Or somewhere around 6 o'clock. Depends on traffic. The boys got to get home from work. Shock House episode 2 coming up tonight with me and CC and Keith. And we're going to get into some stuff. We're going to get in. I really want to break down with the boys what the latest developments in the Bill Belichick situation and what's going on with an old guy with a young girl like that. We're going to get into that. What else? I don't know. CC eats boogers or something. There's something fucking weird that we're going to find out about CC that he's really into. I don't remember exactly what it was. It's like he eats boogers or something. It's not that, but it's something like that. Something fucked up and weird. What else are we going to talk about? There was other things I wanted to mention tonight on Shock House. Anyway, it's just going to be the boys hanging out, talking about stupid shit. Tonight at 6 o'clock, Shock House Radio. Shock House Dallas is on the air. All right. Where was I? Oh, yeah, the stream of consciousness. This show, I just talk. I have no breaks. No music. We might play a little music. No commercials. We don't stop unless I have to go to the bathroom, which is very high possibility that I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom because the show is starting 2 hours. That means I drank 2 hours more worth of coffee this morning. I didn't get up. I sleep in more. I woke up at the same time. The dog's got to go out. Got the dog out before it really started raining this morning. But yeah, so I'm all coffeeed up. What was I saying? Oh, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. Yeah, that's it. I'll probably have to go to the bathroom at some point. So we might take a quick break today because of coffee. The show is performed as a stream of consciousness. I do it in 4 segments. Okay, this is just so I don't get lost. It's all just, I'm not going to say it's off the top of my head. I have some bullet points and some notes that I've made that I want to hit on, but mostly it's just me, stream of consciousness, ranting on the day's hot topics, while also from time to time interacting with you, the fine citizen of the chat room. 4 topics, 4 segments we like to do here. We start out with what I call antecedently on this day. That's just simply a look back at all of the events that have occurred on this day in history. Previously on April the 30th. Also, what do we got? We're gonna do birthdays. We'll take a look at some celebrities, historical figures, important people. They were born on this day. We decide, do we like them or not? That's all. It's just an opportunity to shit on some people or well-earned respect. I like this guy, therefore I wish him a happy birthday. That's quarter 2. Quarter 3 is deads. It's kind of the opposite of quarter 2. Quarter 3 deads, people who died on this day. If you passed away, we're going to sit there. We're going to go, oh, Adolf Hitler died on this day. Where did he go? Heaven or hell. That's what we do. We play heaven or hell with people who died on this day. By the way, Hitler died on this day. I will make a case in defense of Hitler going to heaven. No, that is not. It's not on the agenda. Quarter 4 is all the hot topics, current events, and all that stuff. Stuff we got to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to get into today, too. Let me run through some of the topics that I got here. We're going to bring back an old segment that I used to do, and I'm going to do this daily now because I have these stories, and sometimes they don't make it. But if they were a part of like a category or a segment or a daily bit, an installment, if you will, then we can do it. We're going to bring back the old Pugs and Kelly douche of the day because every day I see a story about a guy. I'm like, well, I don't know how I work that into a show on current events, but Jesus, is that guy a douche? And by the way, the selection of douche of the day is in 2025 far greater than it ever was in 2015 or 2005 when we were doing it. We now have viral videos of people being douche of the day. Oh, so we're going to bring that back. Also, what are we going to talk about here? We're going to go into, what do we got? Hold on. Big stories. Man, we got more crazy press room stuff. I'm going to show you a clip. I'm going to get mad. I'm going to yell, and then we're going to move on, okay? Because we don't do politics, and this isn't politics. But I consider myself a journalist, God damn it. We're talking about Virginia Giuffre. She's the Epstein accuser. She accused Prince Andrew, but I think she worked for Epstein. Whatever. I don't know how to word it properly. Virginia Giuffre killed herself over the weekend. Her attorney is speaking out, throwing a little gasoline on that conspiracy fire. So we'll get into that. Kanye's more video. Kanye's got a new video, not a music video, just him being a wackadoo. So we're going to check that out. We're going to explore a couple of, more, I don't know, intellectual, more whatever topics. Like, for instance, why is Coca-Cola and McDonald's being boycotted around the world? We're going to talk about this. Coca-Cola never did nothing to you. We'll talk about that. Then we're also going to get into this story. This is a wild one. Hold on. Where is it? I forgot my favorite story. Oh, yeah. Here's the big one. This is the big story that we're really going to get into. Bob just got I was really getting into it last night. I even tweeted something, one of my thoughts. Major American brands this year, for the first time, are en masse dropping their support of Pride Month and Pride parades and all of this stuff. We're going to talk about why major American brands are no longer feeling the need to align themselves with the LGBTQ community during Pride Month. They used to spend billions of dollars in corporate America was spent on Pride things. That's numbers really decreased this year. And we're going to talk about why. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about more Shador stuff. Maybe we'll touch on a Bill Belichick development with him and his young, hot girlfriend. Oh, my God. We got a whole bunch of stuff to get into. All right. Not for nothing. I'm also going to talk about that situation that occurred last night between Giannis and Tyrese Halliburton's dad. Did you see that? We don't go all sports, but that's some dude stuff that went down, and we're going to break it down. We're going to tell you exactly what these two dudes were going through in a moment, not to mention both Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm proud of myself. I'm able to say that correctly. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Tyrese Halliburton's father, heretofore referred to as John Halliburton, they're both speaking. So they've both made comments regarding what happened last night at the end of the Bucks Pistons. Pacers at the end of the Bucks Pacers game. So we'll get into that and a whole bunch more. Who knows what you chat people are going to throw at me? Who knows? Sometimes you have a tendency to get me all riled up. All right, what do you say we get started here? One more time, I do want to thank our executive producer of today's show. He is the lovely and talented Peter. He says he's going to come out to trivia one day. Don't know that that's true. Don't really care as long as he's consistently one of our executive producers every week. Thank you, Peter. You can do whatever the fuck you want, dude. Seriously. Peter, Leslie C. April. I'm not going to say names. I'm not saying names. I'm sorry. I just left out like 5 names off the top of my head that I could have rattled off, but I'm not going to just start rattling off names because that's so totally fucking unfair. But thank you to you people who know who you are. You keep us going every month for 3 years. For 3 years, man. We've been doing this show by the skin of our teeth since 2021, going on 4 years. Cece in the chat room is answering. He says, I don't eat boogers. Yeah, we'll get into that tonight at 6 o'clock. All right. Are we ready? Are we done dicking around here? All right, what do you say we get into it? It is the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, for the 30th day of April, year of our Lord, 2025. How did I stumble on that one? There are 100, nope, boop, forget about it. 120 days passed. There's already 120 days gone from the year 2025. That means 245 days remain. All right, let's do quarter one. We call it Antecedently on this day, and it's a quick look at all of the events that happened previously on April the 30th. All right, here we go. First, 1492. Let's get this started. 1492, Spain gives Christopher Columbus his commission of exploration. They also named him an admiral of the ocean sea and viceroy and governor of anything that he discovers. Ho, ho. That's a lot of fucking things for a guy that took a wrong turn and went the wrong way. Columbus thought he was going to Japan. He saw Cuba and went, I found Japan. Fucking idiot. On this day in 1492, on this day in 1789, on the balcony of Federal Hall on Wall Street in New York City, George Washington takes the oath of office. George Washington, first president of these here United States. I asked the question in trivia last night, who's the second? Everybody knows the first. Everybody knows the current. Who's the second president of the United States? John Adams. John Adams was the answer I was looking for. A lot of people got that. A lot of people got that. Okay, on this day, well, of course they did. They're not stupid. That's the thing. I think people know more. That's what trivia is. Tried to explain. Trivia isn't, I don't know, I'm not good at knowing stuff. Have you lived a life? I'll give you an example of how anyone can be good at trivia. I asked the trivia question a couple of weeks ago, what's the tallest building in Dallas? Nobody knew. Nobody knew what the tallest building in Dallas was, except for one person. One person knew that it was the Bank of America Tower, and they even knew how tall it was. And I'm like, that's weird. What are you, a building nerd? And they said, no. Well, my dad worked in that building. My dad worked in that building my whole life. I used to go to that building when I was a little kid. See, that's trivia. That is just something that this rando individual knew simply because of their life experience. It's not about, I ain't doing much book reading. My trivia is for everybody. Anybody has a chance. All right. Antecedently on this day in 1803, the Louisiana Purchase goes down. The United States purchases Louisiana territory from France for $15 million, more than doubling the size of the young nation. Yeah, man. Louisiana Purchase, it's not just Louisiana. It wasn't just like, yeah, Louisiana Purchase when they bought Louisiana. No, they bought everything. The Louisiana Purchase was everything from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up to the border with Canada and then all the way to California, right? Or whatever it was that France claimed in that area. Louisiana Purchase went down on this day in 1803. On this day in 1812, the territory of Orleans becomes the 18th U.S. state. Boom, there you go. They called it Louisiana. Antecedently on this day in 1900, Hawaii becomes a territory of the United States. Check this out. So it was on this day that they made Hawaii a territory. And I'm sure that they just held elections and, they did it all fair. No. Guess who the first governor named of Hawaii? Sanford B. Dole. Gee, I wonder if he had a pineapple interest. I wonder if, stop it with. We're so corrupted these days. We were totally, we gave an entire state to a businessman back in 1900. We gave Hawaii to the guy who owns Dole Pineapple. That's what we did. We've always done that shit. All right. Antecedently on this day in 1947, Nevada's Boulder Dam is renamed. What did they rename Boulder Dam? Hoover Dam. That's right. Who's Hoover? I want to go. Trump, change it back to Boulder Dam. It's a cooler name. Boulder Dam is a cooler name than Hoover Dam. Who's it named after? It's named after. Wait a second. There's a lot of Huberts. No, there's a lot of Hoovers. Okay, here's what we got. We got a president named Herbert Hoover. We got a head of the FBI for 70 years named J. Edgar Hoover. No relation? I don't think so. Then we've got a long-serving senator from Minnesota named Hubert Humphrey. He always screws me up in this whole thing. I have no idea who the Hoover Dam is named after. I'm going to say President Hoover. All right, moving on. That happened on this day in 1947. On this day in 75, the fall of Saigon. Communist forces gain control of Saigon. The Vietnam War formally ends with the unconditional surrender of South Vietnamese President Dong Van Minh. There you go. All right, that's antecedently on this day. Let's move on to the birthdays. Let's talk about people who are having birthdays on this day. First up, celebrating, born on this day in 1940, Burt Young. Y'all know who Burt Young is? Burt Young is Paulie. Paulie from the Rocky movies. You a bump. Wait, how do you do Paulie? I don't know how to do Paulie. I can't do anybody. Apparently, I can do Hitler and Eva Braun in the bunker. That's apparently the only impression I do, as pointed out by Barney the other day. Burt Young, he's cool. Paulie, he's an artist also. He's got art out there. And he's still, no, he's not. Never mind. Thought he was still alive. He died in 2023. Burt Young, Paulie from the Rocky movies. Born on this day. Okay. All right. Time out now. I'm going to spend a little time. We do this a lot here, man. I like to, look, I have known some dudes who weren't famous, who were guitar players, who were absolutely incredible. So I always like to point out when we are going to celebrate a guitar player who is one of the greats of all time, Yesterday, we talked about Mick Ronson. I've gone on and on about Terry Kath. These are not the names we know. These are not Eric Clapton or Jeff Beck or Eddie Van Halen or Jimi Hendrix, right? No, there's like another tier that for whatever reason don't get talked about in that same conversation. And usually it's because, I don't know, maybe they didn't have the body of work, which might be the case in this guitar player that we're about to talk about. This guitar player was named a top 50 guitar player of all time by Rolling Stone magazines back in Rolling Stone magazine back in 2000. He was named one of the top 50 guitarists of all time by Guitar Magazine back in 2015. He is widely considered one of the pure innovators. I told you yesterday about Mick Ronson, about how Mick Ronson and that sound he was able to get with David Bowie was something that other guitar players in the generations that would follow would pick up on. Same can be said for this guy. Born on this day in 1948, Wayne Kramer. Wayne Kramer of the MC5. Now, let me talk a little bit about the MC5 because they are a baller band. The MC5, let me show you some Wayne Kramer. I will tell you about, okay, you know what? Because it needs, if you don't know who the MC5 were, they were out of Detroit. Rob Tyner was the lead singer. Wayne Kramer was like the heart and soul of the band and the guitar player. Fred Sonic Smith was another guitar player in the band. Fred Sonic Smith, of course, would marry Patti Smith. Isn't that weird? Like two people whose last name was Smith, they got married. Anyway, Fred Sonic Smith. Forgive me, I don't remember the drummer. John Sinclair, very provocative and controversial dude. John Sinclair was their manager. John Sinclair was a legalization of marijuana guy. He was a get rid of Nixon guy. He was an anti-war guy. He was a big, high-profile, young, hippie, radical, anti-establishment guy in Detroit in the 1960s and 70s, and he happened to manage this band, the MC5. The MC5 themselves were incredibly political, but it didn't really matter because you couldn't hear what they were saying. I couldn't tell the lyrics. The MC5 were just a rock band. They are widely considered to be, by American punk aficionados, truly the first American punk rock band. So let me show you a little bit of Wayne Kramer, born on this day in 1948, okay? Here is the MC5 on. Hold on, somewhere in Detroit. This guy was not only an incredibly cool guitar player, but his stage presence. Wayne Kramer, I watched a documentary last night about Led Zeppelin called Being Led Zeppelin, and I was just blown away by Jimmy Page. And I'm watching Jimmy Page, like young Jimmy Page. And I'm like, God, his stage presence is so cool. It's like, you know, before Jimmy Page, it was Herman's and the Hermits, you know, and it was George Harrison with the Beatles or whatever. And Keith Richards wasn't really strutting. It was Jimmy Page who kind of invented that fucking cool ass 1968 New Yardbirds / Led Zeppelin's first album. Jimmy Page invented the swagger of the cool guy on stage with a guitar. Wayne Kramer was doing something different. Wayne Kramer was up there with the MC5 playing punk rock and dancing like he's Michael Jackson. He was incredible. So let me show you a little bit of it. This is let's get it right up to the moment where we want him. All right, 115. Just give you a little idea of this guy. One of my rock and roll heroes, Wayne Kramer of the MC5. All right, let's check this out. Here we go. By the way, doesn't that guy look like Matthew McConaughey from Dazed and Confused? That's the drummer. I don't know his name. But this is Wayne Kramer singing and playing lead guitar on Ramblin' Rose. All right, so this is Wayne. This is our birthday boy. He's right here. He's stepping to the mic. He's doing his little dancing. He was incredible.
Wayne Kramer and the Ramblin' Rose.
Hey! Oh, yeah. The great Wayne Kramer, born on this day in 1948. Now, let me play you his most famous song. Maybe it's one that you haven't heard by them, but I promise you, you've certainly heard it by the many other awesome kick-ass bands that have covered it. Let me play you their original version. This is one of the best rock and roll songs of all time. Kick out the jams, motherfucker.
And right now, it's time to kick out the jams, motherfucker! Yeah! Well, I feel pretty good, and I guess.
All right, that is like if you're unfamiliar, maybe you're familiar with the time Blue Oyster Cult covered it. Kick out the jams, or maybe you're of my generation, and this is how you were introduced to the MC5. Rage Against the Machine, kick out the jams. We gotta kick around. All right, how about my personal favorite version of Kick Out the Jams? Well, I mean, I love the MC5 version, but Africa Bambaataa. Oh, man, this is just one of the great jams of all time. How about having a little fun with it? Presidents of the United States.
My term and I shaved up my perm, but it's alright. I solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution. Got a rock and roll problem, well, we got the solution. So let me be who I am, and let me kick out the jam, yeah.
All right. Then there's this version, which I was treated to seeing live about 20 years ago. Pearl Jam.
Jams, motherfuckers!
Any way you slice it, Wayne Kramer having a birthday today deserves our admiration. Another one of the forgotten guitar greats. Now, why do we not know who Wayne Kramer is? Well, let's just say that they were, if any band in the history of music has the right to say that the United States federal government completely shit on their tour, their career, their life, their whatever, it is the MC5. The MC5 were shut down. Their manager, John Sinclair, in 1969, was sentenced to like 10 years in prison for giving, not selling, for giving 2 joints to a hot undercover FBI agent. A hot undercover FBI agent somehow infiltrated the MC5 backstage scene, and she went up and asked John Sinclair, this very vocal critic of the government, and she asked him if he had any weed, and he said, "Sure, darling, here you go. Have a good time tonight." He was being a nice guy. He ended up going to jail for like 9 years. He didn't serve, but about a year or so, because there was a whole bunch of outrage around the country, and there were free John Sinclair rallies. John Lennon took that on as his like personal thing. You know, the way Kim Kardashian did with people who were wrongly sentenced a couple of years ago. Yeah, that's what John Lennon did with John Sinclair. And then, of course, Wayne Kramer himself was an incorrigible drug addict, and he was also put in jail for drugs. And anyway, the MC5, where's that documentary? That's what I've been waiting on for years. Where the fuck is my MC5 documentary? Because those dudes were ballers. All right, moving on. Wayne Kramer, born on this day in 1948. Very cool. Born on this day in 1961. Somebody I'm going to mention, but he's a dick, and I hate it because he's one of the best basketball players to ever come from the Chicago Public League. No, he's not a public leaguer. He went to St. Joe's. All right, he's one of the best basketball players to come out of the Chicago area. Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas. Do you know that in Chicago, right up until the rise of Michael Jordan and those Bulls teams, Isaiah Thomas was a prince of Chicago. Yeah, he played in Detroit, but he was beloved. He would come back. Remember the movie Hoop Dreams? They made that movie Hoop Dreams about, Isaiah the school Isaiah went to in the latest class. Anyway, Isaiah Thomas, he's an asshole, but there was a time when he was beloved. Pistons. He threw it all away with the Pistons. They were just a bunch of gangster thugs. All right, Bill Laimbeer. I'm telling you, there has never been a bigger gangster thug in the NBA than Bill Laimbeer in, say, 1988, 1989. Fuck that guy. To this day, I say fuck that guy. Born on this day in 1975. How about Johnny Galecki? He's the kid from Big Bang Theory. Before that, I think he was Roseanne. No, maybe? I don't know. Whatever. Born on... Oh, here we go. We're going to do another one today because I told you yesterday I don't force these, but when they happen naturally, we can't shy away from a good Kiss, Marry, Kick contest. Kiss, Marry, Kick is my version of Fuck, Marry, Kill. That's so vulgar. I don't want to either just have a... I don't want to say the F word. And I don't want to kill anybody, so what I've done is I've created my own. Kiss, Marry, Kick. One of these women I will kiss. And by that, I mean we're going to hook up. You know what I mean? It's not just kiss. We're going to hook up. All that comes with it, making her breakfast. You know what I mean? We're doing that. That's what kiss means. Then marry. You know what that is. Then you got, instead of kill, we're just going to kick them to the curb. We don't need her. You can go away, lady. I'm sure you're lovely, but you just couldn't compete with these other two. All right, let's figure it out. Here we go. Birthday, Kiss, Marry, Kick. I'll give you the three. Right, I'm going to give you the three up front, and then we'll go through them individually. Okay, born on this day in 1982, our first contestant. Will we be kissing her? Will we be marrying her? Or will we be kicking her to the curb? Kirsten Dunst. Born on this day in 1982. Kirsten Dunst. Mary Kay Rottencrotch. What was her name? That's not her name. What was her name from the Spider-Man movie? Mary Jane? Was she Mary Jane? I don't know. All right, born on this day, our first contestant for Kiss, Marry, Kick, Kirsten Dunst. Born on this day in 1985, our second contestant, actress, model, former Israeli soldier, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot is our second. Woo! Kiss, Marry, Kick, Kirsten Dunst and Gal Gadot. Who's third? Oh, my God. Born on this day in 1988. Cuban actress, Ana de Armas. Oh, my God. There's no losers here. There is no losers here. This is, you can't go wrong. This is a good Kiss, Marry, Kick for me. Okay, let's start out with Kirsten Dunst. We've known her. She started out as a child actress. Wasn't she the kid in Interview with a Vampire, right? In the early 90s, she was like the little blonde vampire girl. Here she is. She is a smoke show. She appears to be a very talented actress. All right. She's like got a career, right? She's just not somebody who was famous when she was a kid. She has become a Whoa. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes, please, Kirsten Dunst. She's so cute. She's like so cute. She's good. Look at her. Oh my God. She's adorable. All right, there you have. Oh my God! Yeah, let's leave it on that one. What is this? Like 19-year-old Kirsten Dunst? What am I doing here? We're not going to leave it on that one. We're going to leave it on one that's appropriate. There we go. That's good. All right, we're going to leave it right there. There you have it. Kirsten Dunst is our first contestant. All right, now let's. I'm telling you, like I said, there are no freaking losers here, guys. Let's move to our contestant 2. Yeah, we'll stop sharing that one. Let's move to contestant 2 in today's Kiss, Marry, Kick. She is the lovely Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. Oh, my God. Oh, boy. Gal Gadot, born on this day in 1985. Kirsten Dunst, 1982. All right, let's scroll through some of these. Let's see what we're working with. She's beautiful. I mean, come on. Freaking Gal Gadot. Look at that. That is a Ferrari. This is. Look at Gal Gadot next to a normal hot chick. Look at that. That is Gal Gadot next to a normal hot chick. It just shows how much hotter she is. That chick on the left is super hot. The one on the right is Gal Gadot. Okay, we're going to leave it right there. There she goes. That's Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. Contestant 2 in today's Kiss, Marry, Kick contest. All right, here we go. Let's go with number 3. Born on this day in 1988. Man, I'll tell you. First time I saw her, where was the first time I saw her? I think the first time I saw her was when she played Marilyn Monroe in that Netflix Marilyn movie from a year or two ago, something like that. She was really good. She got great reviews. I think she was nominated for an Oscar or something, but I remember watching that and going, this is terrible casting. Not because she wasn't good in the role of Marilyn. It's terrible casting because Ana de Armas is just so much more beautiful than Marilyn Monroe, man. I'm sorry. Oh, hold on. We got that? Is that working? Can we scroll? No. Sorry, that one didn't scroll. All right, here we go. Ana de Armas. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Look at her, man. She is prettier times 10 than Marilyn Monroe. Ana de Armas. Oh my God, she is something else. All right, here we go. Let's consider where we're going to leave it. We'll find a good one to leave it on. We'll do that one. All right, there you have it. We'll leave it on that one. All right, so once again, our contestants here for today's Kiss, Marry, Kick. We've got born on this day in 1982, Kirsten Dunst. We got born on this day in 85, Gal Gadot. We've got born on this day in 1988, Ana de Armas. All right, so right off the top, okay, if we're just doing it on sexy, I think it's Gal Gadot, Ana de Armas, and then Kirsten Dunst. But again, I mean, you know, what do you want? Pizza, tacos, or ice cream, right? They're all good. They're all like, I can't go wrong. Shit, I can't believe I'm going to do this. All right, I'm kicking Kirsten Dunst. I'm sorry, Kirsten. No, I want her back. I want her back. Oh, shit, yeah, I do. I want her back. That's important. All right, I want her back. I want her back because she's the only American. And I got to be married to an American. I ain't marrying no foreigner. I ain't dealing with no relatives in another country. No, okay, so I'm going to marry Kirsten Dunst. There we go. Marry Kirsten Dunst. Now it comes down to who would I rather hook up with, right? Because look, you can't lose. My choices, again, who are you going to hook up with, Pugs? Well, my choices here are going to be Ana de Armas. I mean, look, can't go wrong with that. Choices are Ana de Armas or Gal Gadot, which is like, can't go wrong with that. All right, here's the problem. Gal Gadot is trained as an Israeli assassin, and although I find her incrementally better looking than Ana de Armas, and incremental is important here. I find her incrementally better looking than Ana de Armas. I think she would get the edge on physical attraction because I believe Gal Gadot to be taller. And I like a leggy woman. And I imagine that Ana de Armas is probably 5'10". But she's an Israeli, man. I mean, all right. Oh, can't believe I'm kicking Ana de Armas to the curb. Because, look, Cuban chicks have their own problems. You know, she's hot-tempered Latino chick. She could be hard to deal with. All right, here we're going. We're marrying Kirsten Dunst. We're hooking up with Gal Gadot. And we are, I can't believe I'm saying these words. We are kicking Ana de Armas to the curb. That's today's edition of Kiss, Marry, Kick. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. All right. Chat room. What does the chat room say? Barney in the chat room says kiss Anna. All right, hook up with Anna. Marry Gal. Kick snag. Oh, fuck you, Snaggletooth. Oh, fuck you, dude. Snaggle. Really? I understand that in marrying Kirsten Dunst that I might be taking a few hits in the hot meter. Well, it doesn't matter. She's still super hot. She's still good enough for me. I'm worried about, Gal Gadot's ability to physically hurt me and Ana de Armas's ability to just I don't know, be a crazy Latino girlfriend. I don't know. I've had crazy Latino girlfriends. God, I love Latino women. But I know that they're trouble. They're like Russian women. Russian women are trouble too. All right, what else? Sports Bra says, kick Dunst. Well, I didn't do that. Kiss Gal and marry Anna. Does Anna de Armas speak English? Because I don't want to deal with that either. I don't want to deal with, wait, what did you say? Like, I don't want to have a woman who's only going to be helpful to me when we dine at our Mexican restaurant. I don't want that. I need her to be, Anna de Armas needs to speak fluent English. You know, like Gal Gadot speaks fluent English. Too old to learn a new language just to get laid on the reg. Don't want that. All right, we'll move on now. That's so stupid. I'm a grown-ass man. Why am I doing that? Because it's fun. All right, let's do the deads, right? Let's move on to people who died on this day, people who dropped. We'll decide whether or not they went to heaven or hell. All right, first on the docket, dead on this day in the glorious year of 1945, because these two fucks died, Eva Braun and Adolf Hitler. Fuck them both. One of the world's worst people. You know, can we look? All right, we'll get to you, the German whore, later. You know, Hitler's not one of the worst people in history. I mean, how big is the list, right? If you were to be like top 10 worst people in history, Hitler doesn't make that list. I think there have been plenty of people throughout time that have killed way more than the amount of people that Hitler killed. I mean, Stalin, first of all, is way worse than Hitler. Pol Pot is way worse than Hitler. What the Khmer Rouge did, my God, just Google that. Not to mention, then you got like the Armenian genocide, and you go, oh God. That is not to say that Hitler is a good man. That is not what I'm saying. Don't even go there. He's awful, but there's been a lot of really bad people. A lot of really bad people on this planet, this world. They're both going to hell. And that we can all agree on, that Eva Braun and Adolf Hitler are both going to hell. Dead on this day in 1982, Lester Bangs. Lester Bangs is one of the original, truly influential and powerful rock and roll critics. You got to understand, there weren't really rock and roll critics until like the 1970s, until the early 1970s. For the first 10 to 15 years of rock and roll, the person from newspapers or magazines or whatever who were asked to do the rock and roll album reviews, these people were all jazz guys. These guys were all like standards guys, you know? So it was very, Lester Bangs. Lester Bangs kind of created the role. Lester Bangs has been impersonated in a number of movies. I know that not Russell Crowe. What's it? Cameron Crowe. Cameron Crowe, who did Almost Famous and wrote Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and of course was a big Rolling Stone writer and contributor. Almost Famous was about Cameron Crowe's life, and Lester Bangs is depicted in that. Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think, as being the critic who took the time to actually talk and help young Cameron Crowe. Lester Bangs was cool, but he was crazy, and he's not getting into heaven because he was crazy. Dead on this day in 1983, one of my favorite people. He's absolutely going to heaven. The great Muddy Waters, or show some respect, McKinley Morganfield, one should say. Muddy Waters was awesome. Only really got into Muddy Waters about 10, 15 years ago when I was working on a documentary in Chicago for his museum, Muddy Waters Museum, where I was like, God damn. I always knew this guy was kind of cool. Like, I always knew that he was kind of like a dude, but I didn't really know Muddy Waters going to heaven because I like him. Dead on this day in 1983. Went to college with his grandkids, Dance and Shelley. Shelter and Dance. Yeah, Muddy Waters' kids were hippies. They named their kids Dance and Shelley. Or Shelter. They went by Dan and Shelley, but yeah, anyway. Dead on this day in 2019, going to heaven, Peter Mayhew. Pugs, why are you putting a guy we never heard of in heaven? Because Peter Mayhew was Chewbacca. You put the guy inside the Chewbacca suit in hell? It was already hell. That guy filmed like 7 movies wearing that stupid suit. Peter Mayhew, dead on this day in 2019. Dead on this day in 2022, also preemptively putting her in heaven because she seemed like an absolutely lovely woman. And the way that she passed is just so sad, especially when you sort of contrast that against her public reputation as being just a lovely woman. It was on this day in 2022 that Naomi Judd took her own life. Naomi Judd. All right, guys, that's going to do it. That's the first 3 quarters of today's show. We've gotten through all that. Now, let's remind you, we have an executive producer today, somebody that we need to thank. His name is Peter. He's our executive producer. How did he become our executive producer? He became our executive producer because he tipped the most yesterday. How do you tip? You may ask, although you're probably not. I'm being very hopeful. You can go to Cash App, or you can go to the Venmo, drop a little something, support this kind of non-political, everyday talk radio by supporting us with a tip. There you go. Big tipper for today. Will be tomorrow's executive producer, just like the incredibly talented Peter. So thank you, Peter. What else? Also, 6 o'clock, like, follow, subscribe, do all that stuff with this channel, because tonight at 6 o'clock, we're going live again with another Shock House Dallas. Shock House Dallas, the show with the coolest theme song that was entirely created in like 30 seconds by AI. This is AI. This is better than any song that any band that Adam Reyna has gone to see in the last 10 years. And it's AI. Hey, that's me. All right, we're good. All right. That's a fucking freaky good song, man. And I'm a music snob when it comes to certain things, but I'm a big power pop guy. I love 3-minute verse, chorus, verse, catchy hook. That shit is crazy catchy. Shock House Dallas tonight at 6 o'clock. Yeah, totally comfortable with the notion that I am now part of a show where the best part of it is the AI created theme song. Adam's like, I only see bangers. Yeah, right. Adam never goes to a bad show. Never misjudges anything. Certainly would never admit it publicly that he went to a show that he didn't like, because that would mean that he must have misjudged something along the way. I like all shows. I only see bangers, he says. I'm just kidding. You know, I love Adam. All right, let's go. What? That's not true. Peter up here in the chat room, just like making shit up. Peter in the chat room, he says that Chewbacca lived in Granbury. He did not. Did he? Did he really? He's English. Peter Mayhew is a 7-foot English actor who basically only played Chewbacca. That's not true. That is not true. He played a whole bunch of other freaky giant things too. But he was best known as Chewbacca. Peter Mayhew lives in Granbury. It might be true. I don't know. Be kind of weird though. Wouldn't know why that would be. Let's see here. That's it. That's it for the. Oh yeah, we did the deads and now that. All right, so let's move on to all the other things that we need to talk about here on the show. We present this to you every single day. We call it talk radio for normal Americans. That's right. Performed as a rant. Where are we? Stocks. All right. Yeah. The only reason we're going back to talking about stocks is because this morning I looked in, it was like really bad. So let's see if it's any better. They just closed. Yeah, it's up 140. All right. Fuck that. It was like down 600 at like 10:30. All right. Stock market closed up 140. Never mind. We need to start stacking days of consistent wins. And again, if you're like, no, fuck that, then stop being political. Okay, you don't want the American stock market to go on a skid. You just don't. I don't care how much you want to be able to point at the current president and say it's his fault. I'd like to do that too. That guy's crazy. But come on, man. Be happy. All right. Here's some more insane press room propaganda. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. I kind of went off the rails yesterday. Yesterday, I showed you a clip from the White House new media briefing held in the press room. And I made sure that I told you all Don't get this conflated with what the typical press briefing is. The press briefing room is a different thing entirely. This was being held in the press briefing room, but it wasn't an official White House press briefing. What it was an orientation for new media attendees of the regular press room. So these are all people, the Trump administration have invited a whole bunch of fucking idiots into the press room. Sorry, that's just a fact. If they invited me, I would go. I would totally go. But I would make it clear that I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I'm not. Anyway, they invited a whole bunch of idiots into the press room, YouTubers, TikTokers, those fuckers. They're replacing like actual journalists who, have to go through ethics courses and all of that, learn about that shit. Yeah, no, they're just throwing TikTokers in the fucking White House press room. And yesterday, I showed you a clip of one of those people who now occupy a chair in the people's room, asking hot Amy Schumer, which is Carolyn Levitt. She's so hot. She's like Amy Schumer if Amy Schumer was just completely maximized. This reporter asks Carolyn Levitt, what stories do you want us to report? Can you give me guidance? Which made anybody who had ever taken a Journal 101 class just fucking vomit instantly. What? She obviously has never taken a journalism class, knows nothing about ethics, that she would think that it's okay to ask a question like that. It's fucking not, okay? So that made me very angry. Comes today, this is a new one that I saw this morning, and I'm telling you guys, this is not nearly as upsetting to me, but it is just an amplification of how everything weird is now being normalized. This looks like a goddamn Saturday Night Live sketch. Okay, this is from that same meeting. This is another one of these new people occupying a chair, given the responsibility to tell the rest of us who can't be in this room what exactly this administration is doing, what they're up to. So here's what this guy wants to report on. This is what this guy's going to be in the press room talking about.
The first 100 days is at the White House.
First of all, what the fuck is going on with his hair and his whole look? He looks like a space alien trying to pretend to be a human being. This is what a space alien would dress up like if they went, I got to try and fit in. Or, and walk with me on this, this is how a character on Saturday Night Live would dress to impersonate somebody else. This is not a real fucking person. But listen to the question that he wants. He's going to hold this administration accountable on behalf of the American people. Listen to this fucking bullshit.
In the first 100 days is that the White House is crawling with kids. You have a young, beautiful baby boy. There are babies everywhere. There's so many young folks on staff who have kids. But the last 4 years under Joe Biden, parents were really stressed and ravaged. They had to take on 2 or 3 extra jobs. Depression rates were up. Suicide rates were up. You're a very high-profile young mother who seems to juggle and balance it all beautifully. What advice do you have to young parents out there?
Oh, fuck you! Are you fucking kidding me? What advice do you have for young parents out there? You're doing it beautifully. It's hard to believe that someone like you, an on-the-go mom with this great... Fuck you! That is for Parade Magazine in your Sunday newspaper. That is a thing that is done with People Magazine or Us. That is not the kind of shit that needs to be reported out of the White House press room, but we move on. Holy fuck me. God damn it. All I want is the facts. I don't give a shit about all this other stuff. All right, let's move on. Speaking of facts, Virginia Joffrey, remember her? She was Virginia Joffrey. She's the Epstein accused. She worked for Epstein, right? I guess she accused him. Yeah, I guess I just think that, nobody who's accusing Epstein. We just know. We just now all know what Epstein was. So, okay, but she certainly did accuse Prince Andrew, who is currently the little brother to the King of England. She accused him of raping her, because it would be rape because she was underage, when she was 17 years old twice. Won a big settlement from the royal family and created this awareness network. She became an advocate for sexually abused and trafficked women and all that stuff. It's going really well for her. Her nonprofit organization that she ran and probably gave herself a very comfortable salary was entirely funded by the British royal family. Yeah, that was part of the settlement. They were going to give her the seed money for whatever kind of trafficking. So we know that's hundreds of millions of dollars. That thing is well stocked. So things seem to be going well for her. And then about a month ago, she was involved in some weird accident. And then she was also divorcing her husband. She was hit by a bus, and she made an Instagram video. Virginia Joffrey did, the Epstein accuser. She made an Instagram video of her in her hospital room with IVs and bruised arms. And she stated that she only had days to live because she had been told she was going into renal failure, which we reported here on the noon show. We're like, oh, it's terrible, man. This girl's been through some stuff. But then nothing. She didn't die until about 3 weeks after that. Over this past weekend, she committed suicide. Man, and I'm not a QAnon person. I don't go down this stuff. But come on, how much are we supposed to just accept? But that makes sense. It does kind of. I think yesterday when we talked about this, I told you didn't we go through her life a little bit? Or maybe that was Monday. Told you about how she had been a runaway and she'd been sexually abused from the age of 7. She lived with a international sex trafficker in Miami when she was 13 and then was rescued by police when he was sent to prison. And she went back to live with her dad, who worked at Mar-a-Lago, who got her a job as a masseuse at Mar-a-Lago or as an attendant, in the day spa. That's where she met Epstein and okay, never mind. I was going to say, why isn't that Trump connection talked about more with Epstein and her? It's okay, but we're going to move on. It is fucking weird, though. So she killed herself over the weekend. We learned, we're like, oh my God, Virginia Joffrey killed herself. So anyway, her lawyer is speaking out. Of course, she had a lawyer. She had a lawyer who was supposed to meet with her on Friday. Friday was the day that she was found unresponsive. By the way, they think it's pills. Very Marilyn Monroe. That is the easiest way to murder somebody. First of all, you murder them. You figure out a way to murder them. Then you just cram a bunch of pills down their throat and make it look like Maryland. You do the Maryland thing. Anyway, let's listen in on her attorney. Or not listen in. I'm going to read it to you. Let's see here. Mysterious detail. Well, here, let's just so we're familiar with who we're talking about. Here we go. We'll show you these pictures. This comes to us from the Star. The Star is reporting. There we go. So there she is. That's who we're talking about. Virginia right there. That's her right around the time of her passing. That's her, of course, in the famous picture with Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew pulling her close. He's got his hand on her waist. That's not, you don't. That, I don't. If you're just taking a picture with a chick, okay, get a picture with you. I don't know that I touch her there on the rib cage, but okay. All right, so that's who we're talking about. Here's what her attorney says. Cops found the Prince Andrew accuser unresponsive at a remote farmhouse an hour north of Perth, Australia on Friday night. It says here, Carrie Loudon, who has represented Virginia Joffrey since the new year, said the mom of 3 was in a lot of pain, but was looking forward to her future plans. She says that Virginia wanted to renovate the house and all sorts of things. There were plans that she had for the future. The lawyer then revealed that she had spoken to Virginia, 41, she's 41 years old, in the days before her death and had even been due to meet with her on the day that she was found unresponsive. Her lawyer says, I'd just spoken to her the day before. She also says, I was meant to be up here today, right now, having a meeting with her so we could sort out some of her legal affairs. I was here this time last week. We've been meeting every Friday, and things have been very positive with her. But in a scathing blast at the authorities, her attorney said she was left reeling, claiming that police failed to even confirm Virginia's death. She said, I'm her lawyer, so I don't like to speculate about things. I like beyond reasonable doubt. They have told me nothing. Until the evidence is in, we're just, drawing conclusions. She goes on to say, officially, the police told me nothing. This is her attorney. Officially, the police told me nothing. They didn't even confirm that she was dead. That's how little information the police have provided me. She added, this has been a complete shock to all of us who knew Virginia. If any of us had thought that she was going to commit suicide, of course we would have taken more steps, and put her into a clinic or got her some professional help. When I got the phone call, I was like, are you joking? Because there's no signs that this was even something that she was considering. All right, there you have it. That's Virginia Joffrey's attorney. I would push back a little bit. In that, I mean, there's also the angle of, well, it's her attorney. Her attorney wants to give as many interviews as possible because that ups her per hour rate, makes her a higher profile attorney. If she's suddenly on all these TV shows, people will pick up the phone and call her when they need representation now because she's got some fame attached to her, right? That's why the greatest attorneys take controversial cases for free, because it builds their practice. So there's that. So maybe she's doing that. Maybe if she can create a role for herself in this aftermath of Virginia's death, the lawyer can create a role for herself. She might be able to, turn that into some lawyer dollars somehow. But also I would push back on the idea that this was a suicide simply because of that weird Instagram from 3 weeks ago. And because we know she's going through a divorce, and it seems to be pretty contentious, as she has accused her husband of sexually abusing her and all kinds of terrible things. So when you say there was no sign I would say there was signs that she was spiraling. I would say that there were signs that she was spiraling when you connect two different stories. One was the story of the bus accident that she was involved in. Remember, she was riding in a car with an older woman. She was in the back seat. The older woman was driving her. The details of it aren't clear. We don't know who it is. Hell, the older woman could have been an Uber driver, right? She could have just been Ubering. She was going somewhere. She was in the back seat. And a bus pulled out and clipped the car at like 10 miles per hour. The police came. There was a report filed. Nobody went to the hospital. Everybody was fine. Even like the 50 people that were on the bus, everybody was fine. But then 3 weeks later, you've got Virginia Joffrey Instagramming with IVs and bruises from a hospital bed, talking about how she's been in this terrible car accident. And again, at the time that she released that, we didn't know any details about the bus accident. We didn't know what was going on. So that all looked really shady. But now we do know the details. We know details like the bus driver was like, I didn't even know anybody was injured. That's what the bus driver has said now, the weeks after the accident. There was nobody injured during that accident. So that's weird. So there's something weird going on with Virginia Joffrey. Although that would be a perfect smokescreen, right? Wouldn't it? If you wanted to kill her and make it seem like, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, there you have it. That's the update. The attorney is saying that she showed absolutely no signs of being anyone that was even considering suicide. Let's talk about some asshole kids. You know me, I love to talk about asshole kids. I got a 15-year-old. He's a sophomore in high school. He's not an asshole, but, in a fun way, they're all assholes. We can all agree with it, right? This comes to us from upstate New York. Did you hear about the hazing situation with the lacrosse team? It's always these fucking lacrosse kids. Fucking lacrosse. They didn't lacrosse. Lacrosse wasn't a thing when I was in high school. You know where it was a thing? In movies depicting the way super rich people lived. Super rich people in the 1980s went to high schools where they offered lacrosse. I didn't have lacrosse. Not that I'd have gone out for it, but I had no understanding of lacrosse. It's an East Coast thing, right? Can I also say something else that's probably going to be very provocative to any of you lacrosse fans? It's a chick sport, right? Lacrosse is a chick sport. What are you talking about? It's field hockey, right? Field hockey. I knew a girl who played field hockey in college. Isn't that lacrosse? Isn't that a chick sport? I don't know. All right. It's always lacrosse kids, though, that are assholes. And I think it's because they're rich kids. I think it's because it's rich kids that, like the assholes at Duke. Remember those asshole kids? No, they were innocent. They ain't raped nobody. I would say that in the scheme of asshole, the flow chart, the prostitute strippers who made up and concocted that whole story about what happened with the Duke lacrosse team 20 years ago, I think they're probably ahead of them in the asshole rankings. But that doesn't mean those Duke lacrosse players weren't a bunch of assholes. They were. They're a bunch of Dickie Silverspoon rich kids whose daddies were all corporate lawyers. Now, they were wrongly accused, but all things can be true at once. But anyway, it just seems to me that lacrosse, it just breeds like a dickhead kind of person. So this happened in upstate New York. This is a high school. Is it a high school? It's a high school lacrosse team. And apparently they have a really wild way of initiating new members to the team. And it concerns armed kidnapping. And, well, I'm going to read you the story. Here you go. Authorities in upstate New York have given a group of high schoolers accused of staging an extreme lacrosse team hazing ritual an ultimatum. Hand yourselves over to the police within 48 hours or face felony charges for kidnapping. So this was a press conference that I caught this morning. This is like the chief of police or whatever. He's like standing there and he's like, all right, there's a whole bunch of you out there who did this. Who they beat up some kid, put a gun to his head and shoved him in a trunk. That's like the charge, right? That's how they welcome him to the team. I guess it's better than some of the gay shit. You ever heard all the gay shit that like, dude, if the best athlete in your school turns out to be a gay dude, oh my God, your college initiation is going to be all kinds of weird gay shower stuff. I never had any initiations. My teams weren't good enough. I got to be honest with you. There ain't nobody that gave a shit about the teams that I played on in high school. Just constant middle of the pack. We're 5-5 again. Cool. Anyway. You know what I mean? Dude, look, every time I hear, like we used to hear horror stories about, especially in Chicago, it was the high-end Catholic school boys that you'd always hear these weird stories about their hazing rituals for the teams. And I swear to God, with the Catholic school, it was always something gay. It was always something homosexual. It's weird. Like they do like the elephant walk. Like, Brother Rice, they make you do an elephant walk. Like, what the fuck is an elephant walk? That's where all the new players have to hold on to each other's dicks and walk around in a circle in the shower. What the fuck? Who even wants to see that? No. Anyway. I'm sure the guy who decided, hey, let's make them hold each other's dicks. I'm sure that guy's, living quite the life in Manhattan these days with his partner of 25 years. Yeah, there's no way a straight guy comes up with that concept. Let's make them hold dicks and walk around. I'll watch. You guys can go. I'm going to sit here and watch them hold each other's dicks. So that's, I guess, not as bad as having a gun pulled on you and being forced to get in the trunk of a car. So the police up there in upstate New York, they're saying that you got 48 hours to turn yourselves in, you little assholes, or else, you know what? We're going to charge you with kidnapping. Now, here's what's funny about this. They've got it on videotape. They know who these kids are. They're really giving them a break. They are allowing these kids to come forward. They've got videotapes. They know who all the kids are. They just haven't made any arrests because they're kids. There's got to be a little bit. Well, they're kids and apparently they're rich kids. So, you got to handle this the right way. Rich kids have daddies who are attorneys or at least have attorneys, and they're willing to bring some charges against the local chief of police for, touching his son the wrong way. And there may be no basis for this case at all, but it is going to fuck up that chief of police next 9 months. And that chief of police has got, you know what I mean? Rich people, you can't fuck with them. Dude, let me show you something. You want to see something fucking crazy about how you don't fuck with rich people? Oh, yeah, we middle-class people, we think, man, my own neighborhood, he pulled me over in my own neighborhood because I rolled through a stop sign, right? You live in a working-class neighborhood with normal fucking people, the cops are going to pull you over and harass you in your neighborhood. If you live in a wealthy neighborhood, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Seriously, cops do not pull people over in my neighborhood. I live in an extraordinarily wealthy neighborhood. We're talking billionaires in my neighborhood, right? Now I squat. I'm not there on merits. I'm just lucky to have a little room and a little house, a little dupe. I'm lucky, but so let me show you something. Let me show you something that happens on my block. It drives me nuts. I want to start live streaming these when I walk my dog. I walk my dog. And I'm thinking about how do I make content out of walking my dog? So there is a 4-way or a 2-way stop sign right around the corner from my house. It's a 2-way stop sign. And it's in front of a school. It is right in front of a middle school. It is a stop sign. And nobody stops at it. Ever. So I'm just going to start going out there and start recording. And I did a little practice one. I want to show you. You think I'm crazy? You think, oh, Pugs doesn't know what he's talking about. Pugs is crazy. Let me show you this shit, okay? Hold on. All right. And this is one of them situations where it's like, oh, wait for it, right? Hold on. Let me show you. Here's a stop sign. You're going to see somebody roll right through this fucking stop sign. And then I want you to pay attention to something. All right, here you go. Oh, wait. Oh, man, we'll do it again. Look at this. This is how rich people get treated by their cops. Here we go. See the stop sign? There you go. Not a stop. Whoa, he's just going to roll. Oh, my God. That's a cop right there. That is a cop right there. Did nothing. Did nothing. The cop just watched her just roll right through the stop sign. Why? Because that cop doesn't want to pull that lady over because that lady's probably married to some corporate attorney who's going to be on the phone with the chief of police who donated $25,000 to the mayor's reelection campaign. And now that cop's going to be on desk duty because he hassled the wrong fucking Karen. Guys, I'm telling you, can you see this car? That is a cop car. That is a University Park. There you see it. There's a university. He's sitting right there. One more time, just so you can see. There she is. Oh, I'm right in front of a school. There's the school. Make a left turn. You're turning in the school. Is the cop going to do anything? Nothing. That cop did nothing. But I'll tell you, you live in a blue-collar neighborhood and the cops will fuck with you. They don't care. They know you can't afford a lawyer. What are you going to do, fucking construction worker? You're going to make my life hard? I'm a cop. I'm higher on the food chain than you. Meanwhile, you pull over one of the Real Housewives of Dallas and your career is fucked. So they get to do whatever the fuck they want. Let's see here. Mama B's in the chat room. She says, are you sure she was suicidal? I imagine she's talking about Virginia Joffrey. And no, that's the whole thing, Mama B. Her attorney says she didn't seem like she was suicidal. I just think that when you put all the pieces together of Virginia Joffrey's life, you can see why she might have some dark kind of, that's all I'm saying. And also, in the Virginia Joffrey story, don't we hear this a lot when people kill themselves? Don't we hear people in their personal orbit say things like, well, they were making plans. It just doesn't make any sense. I'll tell you, as somebody who suffers with depression and have dealt with those kinds of thoughts for a very long time and worked very hard to completely understand how to harness them and how to, not let them become important. I can tell you that it doesn't matter if you have plans tomorrow. When you get hit with the emotional weight of whatever it is that you're carrying and you decide that you can't handle this anymore, man, that can happen in the blink of an eye. And I think that people who don't have certain things, I think they don't understand that. I think they don't get it. They don't, well, how do you just go from being, I don't know. Nobody can explain it. Least of all those of us who suffer from depression. Hi, Ben. Ben is in the chat room. What's going on with you, Ben? All right, so back to the story about the lacrosse kids. The cops are going to allow them to turn themselves in 48 hours. If they don't, they're going to be hit with kidnapping charges because they drove to someone's house, lured them outside, apparently pulled a gun on them, forced them in the trunk, brought them out to the woods, and then left them in the woods. Now, I imagine there was no sexual humiliation in this case. I don't know. I don't want to look into it that much, but I bet he was pantsless in the woods. That just seems to be a common thread with these. All right. Kanye went a little bit nuts. Watch this. We're going to show a little bit of this. It's 3 minutes. Nobody needs to hear Kanye West going on for 3 minutes, just completely without any governor. But here's the latest from Kanye. Apparently he's demanding his kids back. That's what this is. Kanye wants his kids back. Kim has like complete custody of the kids because, well, all she had to do was walk into court and go, hi, I'm Kim. I'm their mother. Their father is Kanye. And the judge went, full custody. Granted to you, lady. But Kanye's not getting his kids back. There ain't no judge giving Kanye his kids back. Anyway, here he is. And what the fuck is going on? He's got the mask on. We can't see him. And because the mask is covering his mouth, so you can't hear what he's saying. But I'll tell you who I'm interested in. I'm interested in this poor dude back here. This guy, whoever is the guy that's got to hit all the buttons that Kanye doesn't know what they do. I don't know what that do, man. This guy's got to have a hell of a life. And I don't mean that like a good life. I mean, this guy's life has got to be just every day. He's probably on the verge of being fired because he works for this crazy person.
All these black None of these celebrity niggas give a fuck about anything but they next motherfucking cheeseburger, nigga. Yeah, academics put that battery in my back, bro. Because I was in the airport by myself, bro. That shit is so important to me, man. I mean, love you, bro. That meant everything to me.
He's talking about his kids. You can't really hear him, but he's complaining about how they get fed McDonald's, and he would never feed them McDonald's. Like, that's the worst thing that his mother is doing to them, is that these kids eat McDonald's from time to time.
Bro,
Honestly, I think that's one of the coolest things I've heard about the Kardashians so far. That, yeah, from time to time, Kim with a backseat full of kids is going to go through the drive-thru at McDonald's. That's a normal person thing. You know, it's not a normal person thing. Screaming into a microphone with a mask on, muffled so no one can hear you while scaring the shit out of some low-level intern in the background.
I'm gonna go get these kids, man. Fuck all these faggot niggas. I'm gonna go get these kids, bro. I'm talking to the lawyers. It get to the point so I don't lose my fucking mind. I'm like, I have to get used.
He's worried about getting to the point where he loses his mind, all right? Mr. Self-awareness, Kanye West, he's worried that he's getting to the point that he's going to lose his mind.
I'm not seeing my kids. Like, it'll be okay. And then niggas like, hey, first.
Okay, you know what? I can't do it anymore. He's an idiot. He's a complete idiot. No one can hear what he's saying. All we know is that he's talking about his kids. He's angry that Kim gives him McDonald's. Hi, Frankie. Frankie's in the chat room. Rainy Days with the post of the day in the chat room says, can't wait to listen tonight. That's right, tonight. Shock House Dallas, episode 2 with myself, CC, and Keith, 6 o'clock. Rainy Day says, can't wait to listen tonight. I'm curious to know why CC eats boogers. Me too. I mean, the first week we found out that Keith thinks that trading Luka was a good deal. Keith fully supports Nico Harrison, doesn't understand why everybody's mad at him. I thought that was a good deal. We learned that in week 1. Keith thought Nico Harrison made a good deal. And now this week, we're going to learn why CC eats boogers. All right. That's tonight on Shock House Radio. Shock House, currently a show whose theme song is better than the actual show. Here we go. Come on. Yeah. Those AI too. I don't know why AI did that. I liked that AI did that. Pugs and the crew. They're not even giving Keith and CC equal billing when, you know, it's an equal billing show. Right now, it's just 3 people. Maybe it'll be 4, 5, 6, whatever. It's going to be a hangout. So apparently that song was made because they went to a site and it said, you want a song? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, what genre? And then it was like 100 choices, country, blues, whatever. And I don't even know what we picked, but we clicked on that one. And then there was just like a little box that said, tell us what you want in the song. And we just said, this is Shock House Dallas. It's Pugs Moran and Keith and CC from the Sports Bras. It's Guy Talk, Sports. And that was it. And then within like 2 minutes, this comes back. Come on. Guitar break. I mean, right there is where you put the drops. You know, that's like right there is where you'd put like, you know, CC saying, I don't know, man. I think everybody eats boogers. And then you go back into the music. I don't know what the lyrics are. I really don't. I need to look at the lyrics. I think I looked at the lyrics the first time and I was like, man, that is creepy, scary. Pugs brings the fun and the drinks never end. We didn't say anything about alcohol, but okay. The theme song says we got to drink. We got to drink. It's a night to remember with every friend. So raise a glass high. Let's toast to this place. Right. Great chorus. How on earth are jingle writers ever going to make a penny again? The entire, there are people who are struggling songwriters who are able to have a career simply by working in the advertising and marketing world during the day, where they create jingles for local roofing companies and, car dealerships and all of that. AI can do it better, quicker, and you don't have to pay them. You don't have to give a deadline to AI. Oh my God. AI. Sorry. I can't with that's just too great. I can't believe AI did that. I can't believe it. All right, let's keep going. Kanye's nuts. Let's talk about this one here. This is fun. Here we go. We got some fun here. No, this one isn't fun. This one actually kind of sucks. Yeah, we'll just skim over it. So Coca-Cola and McDonald's they're being boycotted, and they're not being boycotted with like people who take a day off and they all get together on one day and they fucking show up in front of, the Berlin McDonald's or whatever. And they say, don't eat at McDonald's. No, it's not a boycott like that. It's a scarier boycott. And it's got American companies like Coca-Cola and McDonald's going, hey, just so you know, it's been like 6 weeks since, you started shitting on Europe, and all of our European markets are in the toilet. McDonald's is down 70% across Europe. People are actively not going to McDonald's because it's seen as an American company. Fucking Europe. These are our friends. Here, wait, this just popped up. Okay, so here, this is the latest. Look at this. This was just posted. Danes are now boycotting Coca-Cola, says Carlsberg. Carlsberg is the biggest bottler there, and they bottle Coca-Cola, and they're saying, hey, look, you don't boycott it because you're going to put guys who work here at the Carlsberg bottling company, you're going to put them out of work. Just because Coca-Cola is identified as an American brand doesn't mean that there isn't an entire economy that is supported here in Europe by people who work for Coca-Cola. Come on now. Danish consumers are boycotting Coca-Cola, this according to Carlsberg, which bottles the U.S. brand in the country. Our Coca-Cola volumes are down significantly here in Denmark, said Carlsberg Chief Executive Jacob Arup Andersen. This is a level of consumer boycott that seems to be surrounding all U.S. brands in Europe. All right, well, there you go. Fine, more Coca-Cola and McDonald's for me. Did you know that I went to a McDonald's in Ireland, in Dublin? Simply because I needed something that tasted like meat. I had gone to a Dublin hamburger joint, Paddy McSweeney's Burger-orama, or whatever, like a little thing. And I'm eating this hamburger, and it looks like a hamburger. And I bite into it, and I'm like, holy fuck, this meat went bad. This meat went bad. This is not fat. This is not meat. This is not hamburger. This does not taste like hamburger. And guess what I was told? Their ground beef tastes nothing like ours. So that if we are used to the way our ground beef tastes, you bite into an Irish or English or Scottish hamburger, and you're going to be like, look, meat is supposed to stay consistent. It's supposed to taste a certain way. Yeah, you know what I mean? Bad meat. So I guess they told me like the difference is what the cows eat there. Like over here in America, our cows all eat corn and corn products and shit like that. And that like makes their meat taste different. That's why America's got the best cattle in the world. Probably over there, they eat like leaves and grass and fucking whatever, and meat tastes different. So whatever, fine. So I went to a McDonald's in Dublin because I was like, this hamburger is fucking awful. And I just really needed something. I was there like a week. I really needed something good. So I went to a McDonald's. I walked into a McDonald's and I got a quarter pounder. and I started to eat the quarter pounder, and guess what? Same fucking thing! Same thing! I'm like, this is not American beef. This is that garbage, whatever European beef that they're forcing us to eat. So I got a Filet-O-Fish sandwich, and we called it a day. I ate like 4 Filet-O-Fish sandwiches, and we moved on. I laid the base to drink, but no, the fucking hamburgers over there are garbage. So whatever. They're boycotting McDonald's in Europe, and Coca-Cola is now in trouble in Denmark. Denmark? Was that one of them Viking places? All right, now let's get into something here. You know what I want to do here, guys? Because we are coming up on 20 minutes before the end of this here show. But we're not going to end it. Don't worry. We're going to keep going. But I am going to take advantage of what I said earlier. I'm going to take a quick break because I need to run to the bathroom and I need to freshen my drink. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about a story that is kind of the big story of today. It's a report about spending and how it pertains to, this comes from the Wall Street Journal today, how it pertains to Pride Month celebrations, Pride Parade sponsorships, and all that. So I want to talk about that. Major American brands are no longer supporting Pride Month activities and Pride Month promotions. Try and figure out why that is and maybe have a rather provocative conversation on the subject. All right, that's coming up after this, but please allow me to take a quick break. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to get some new soda. My soda's flat. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. All right, very good. Very good. We're back. Thank you. Sorry about that. Appreciate you giving me a little minute there to get some things in order around here. All right. Excuse me. I took a big swig off my soda because I was thirsty and it went down the wrong way. All right. Let's see here. Where are we at? Okay, so I want to talk about this. This is a story out of the Wall Street Journal today. This is an interesting story because it sort of well, I mean, it's a barometer on the slight shift that we are seeing in attitudes among rank and file normal people. I'm just gonna say it as normal people, whatever you define a normal people or person to be. Here's the story. It's concerning the upcoming Pride Month, June, right? Of course, we all know June is Pride Month. Excuse me. Why can't I? Hold on. Here's the story out of the Wall Street Journal, and then we'll pull it apart and we'll talk about reasoning and what does this really mean, and should we be upset or should we be whatever. MasterCard isn't renewing its corporate sponsorship of the New York City Pride March this year. It's the city's annual march for LGBTQ rights for 2025. So MasterCard, man, I'm telling you, I've put together some events. You get MasterCard on board. Woo! MasterCard doesn't come on board for a $500 sponsorship. You feel me? MasterCard comes on board and basically bankrolls the entire thing. That's a major big corporate sponsor. So MasterCard is now pulling out of the New York City Pride Parade. Now, why are they doing that? Because, well, they don't have any money. That's not it. Here's why I think MasterCard is pulling out. I think the MasterCard is no longer worried about the blowback of what would happen to their company and their stock if they were to pull out. And that's very interesting. It is very interesting because many of these companies don't give a fuck about your cause. These companies give a fuck about appealing to a certain demographic, making a very specific demographic feel as if they're important to them. And they've been doing this. Look, it's understood that homosexuals in America, you know, they tend to have way more money than heterosexual people. Kids saving for college, vacations, extra airlines, all that stuff. Gay people are also very successful in this country, and the big market advertisers, they kind of understood that. Those people can spend money on fancy cars and jewelry and trips and air travel and vacation, all of that good stuff. So they saw a way to appeal. But then over the course of time, they started to see the other side of it. They started to see, you know, people who now proudly walk around the mall on Saturday with their red MAGA hats. Those people used to always be like, ah, blah, blah, blah. Those people always had a problem with this kind of stuff. But the fear on the part of people like MasterCard, the fear was that if they were to stop, if they were to just be done giving all of this money every year for these pride parades, if they just stopped, what would happen? Well, I'll tell you what would happen. Those companies would have been crushed by the gay lobby. The gay lobby is massive. So the big tell in this story isn't so much that MasterCard is a homophobic company now after years and years of just endlessly supporting these parades. MasterCard is just simply not afraid of the blowback from the gay community anymore. That's what my big takeaway from this is. There's going to be more companies I'm going to talk about here, but these companies are no longer supporting Pride. We saw what happened to Target last year, and that's what a lot of these companies are seeing. Target, for years, did a special every month, Pride section. Remember when people were getting arrested, you know, the idiots getting arrested because they can't handle a gay Pride t-shirt in their Target, which is a whole nother issue. But Target took some shit because Target last year, for the first time, remember, they started pulling back. Target pulled back. First it was, some stupid a trans bathing suit for kids. Remember that? That became a big thing. So then Target was like, well, we're sorry. That was a little bit too far. So they pulled that stuff back. And then they said, look, we're going to dial back our participation in Pride Month. And then the gay lobby crushed them. The gay lobby came out and absolutely crushed Target. And then the MAGA world, because they weren't really paying attention to what the gay lobby was doing, the MAGA world was already crushing them because they dared have a fucking tranny swimsuit. Target was fucked. Target's like, oh, Jesus, man, everybody's fucking mad at us. Their stock went down. But guess what happened? A couple of weeks later, we fucking forgot, because that's who we are. We get really angry about something and we boycott for a good 72 hours, and then we go back to being normal. That's what Target figured out. Target went back to normal. Target rebounded very quickly. There were headlines for weeks. Target suffers losses like never before, and they rebounded quickly. And Target basically just said, you know what? Fuck this. We will be respectful, and we will invite and welcome anybody from any walk of life that wants to come into our stores. But fuck this. And now here we are 1 year later, and we are seeing a whole bunch of other major big brands who formerly just blindly wrote checks because they didn't want the trouble. We're seeing them now go, you know what? We're not afraid of you guys anymore. And I'm sorry, that's a victory. That's a victory. And I'm certainly not anti-LGBTQ. A friend of mine who is a gay man is right next door. James! No, James. Not James. I work in an art gallery. Half of my friends are homosexuals. And you know what? They're the normal homosexuals. There are a lot of normal homosexuals. And I need to say that because that sort of speaks to where we are. Normal homosexuals no longer feel, I'm not going to say, hold on. I'm going to go a little more in this story, and then will allow me to rant on my thoughts. But I will say this. I posted something on Twitter last night while I was reading this story and putting this whole thing together. Whole thing. It's just me just extemporaneously ranting. And I'm like, oh, I'll keep that. I said something on Twitter last night. I said, I don't like every straight person. So don't expect me to like every gay person. That was it. It was a simple tweet. I don't like every straight person. So why do you expect me to have to like every gay person? Because there's a lot of gay people who are assholes, man. Roy Cohn, one of the biggest assholes in the history of the world, was a gay man, okay? I'll expand on that in a moment, but let's get back to this story so I can tell you some of the other things that some of the other big advertisers and former supporters of the gay pride parade around these countries have to say about this. MasterCard. Okay, well, back to MasterCard. The financial service giant has supported Heritage of Pride, the nonprofit group that organizes the New York March and other area LGBTQ events, for over a decade, serving as a top-level platinum sponsor and preferred payment partner for the past several years. MasterCard's decision puts it among a group of New York City Pride sponsors that are not returning this year. Others include soda and snack marketers Pepsi. Pepsi is no longer writing checks because they feel like they have to be represented at the Pride Parade, or else, God forbid. So Pepsi's out. Nissan is out. Nissan had been a supporter of Pride Parades coast to coast for over a decade as well. Nissan is now out. Banking giant Citibank is out. They are no longer. And also consulting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers, who I don't know what the fuck they did. What did they tally the votes for the craziest tranny float? I don't know what the fuck was Pricewaterhouse doing there, but most have not opted out of all Pride activities in the United States. Some will maintain a paid presence at New York City's Pride through appearances such as branded booths, for example, while others are sponsoring smaller marches in other cities or investing in private employee-focused events instead. MasterCard said it would still participate in the June New York City March as well as other events, just without the platinum sponsorship status. It says here, MasterCard is a longstanding supporter of the many communities of which our employees are member, including the LGBT. Look, everybody. Okay. So now let me just go into my rant. Now we know. Okay, now we've gotten those details. These companies no longer feel that they need to be compelled to state to the world, we support gay rights. You know fucking why? Because that war is over, and that war was won years ago. We would elect a gay president today. Gay people are not the oppressed minority that other groups in this country still are. Okay, now I maybe because they're the hot topic of the moment. You know, there is the subcategory of trans American who certainly does deserve our empathy, support, whatever it is that we can muster, because you must admit that over the past couple of years, trans people went from being something that I thought maybe there were 5 in the whole world to now suddenly being everywhere all the time, and we're fine with that. I don't care. Neither do you. But the idea that anyone who rolls their eyes at yet another Pride Month, another Pride celebration, the idea that any of us that roll our eyes at this notion are homophobes is fucking nonsense. I mean, my God, it's not about rejecting the lifestyle. Everyone's got a gay cousin now that we love, okay? It's not about a rejection of God's law or any of that bullshit that we used to hear in the 70s when there probably was a real need for true corporate sponsorship for these sort of awareness marches. Being gay in today's world is about as toxic as being a fat redhead, okay? And I know this because I am a fat redhead. Well, I'm bald, but I was a fat redhead, all right? It's not the best kind of card to draw from the deck, but we're not fucking ostracized. I just feel that at this point, these pride parades are no longer a demand for acceptance as much as they're an obnoxious display of narcissism and shamelessness. Not to mention the fact that it's a fucking cash grab. Understand that in the world of cause-driven fundraising, which is what these organizations that put together these pride parades, these organizations that sponsor, you know, Pride Month, which is fine. We can still have Pride. It's fine. It's gay month, whatever. Hey, remember when gay people used to be hated? That's fine. But the idea that businesses need to be strong-armed or feel that they're being somehow socially strong-armed to write checks every year to these things that have just become bloated, gratuitous exercises in excess. Have you ever been to a pride parade? They're nuts. They don't need Citibank, you know, getting their money. If these people want to get nuts on a float, let them get nuts on a float. Doesn't need to have, a Coca-Cola banner on it. So when you start an organization like in 1985 or whatever, whenever the pride thing really became this, we can make money off this, whenever that was, you start out because you're trying to do something genuine. The people who formed these pride organizations were doing something genuine. Gay men had it rough, man. Seriously, how long has it been since, like you couldn't be an openly gay actor in Hollywood? Now every actor is gay, and they've always been gay. Theater people are very open sexually. They're experimental. Like 15, 20 years since, who was the guy? Rupert Everett. Remember he was in my best friend's wedding and people were like, he's a gay man and he's like gay in real life. Oh, for shame. It's been a long fucking time since that shit. Even far-right MAGA, super conservative, they are filled with homosexuals. There are gay people all over what is supposed to be the most intolerant subset of American modern society. Gays are all over MAGA. People don't give a fuck about being gay anymore. But when you start this business in the 1980s and your war is to win acceptance for your lifestyle, and it starts to be real successful, and all of a sudden you've got a team of 15 people on your board and they're all making $250,000 a year, and my God, you've got nice apartments in Manhattan, you will never admit that you won the war. You will never admit that you won the war. It's 2025. Do we really need to be told that gay men in America are somehow a persecuted group? They're not, okay? They're the most powerful people in modern society, gay men and women. Again, the LGBT thing, this is like, hey, not LGBT, the Q thing, right? No, not queer. What is it? It's the trans people. They've got a separate argument, and I'm willing to have a sidebar with them about what they're going through at the moment, because I think we could all acknowledge that all of a sudden we're all dealing with the whole trans person issue. And if we're being truthful, we had like 20 years of slow roll of, gay and lesbian acceptance, right? We had like 20 years of that. At some point, it was just like, yeah, I guess so. I guess my cousin Kenny is gay. Yeah, I love Kenny. Yeah, right. I'm okay with gay, right? It took about 20 years of that. We haven't had the 20 years of that with trans people yet. So, give that one a little time, and I understand that's a sidebar. But the corporate gay machine, the corporate gay cash making, those parades raise like $25 million in big cities. You're telling me it costs $25 million to put on a parade? There is no need for this stuff anymore. You can celebrate the lifestyle. I think there's nothing wrong with having a gay pride parade. But my point is the idea that these corporate sponsors need to feel strong-armed because they got to support this poor indentured class. It's absurd in 2025, and we all know it. All right, now back to my thing. Like, there are... It seems weird when I have to say... like normal gays. I don't mean to say that simply being gay makes you abnormal. It doesn't. That's the point of it, right? There are normal people. There are normal people who are, gay. There are normal people who are straight. And there are plenty of normal people who are also gay who you can go up to and say, in 2025, do you really feel persecuted? And they will tell you, actually, no, I feel pretty fucking good. I feel, being a gay man in 2025, being a lesbian in 2025 is not what it was in 1985. And this doesn't mean that we don't forget. We remember. But you've won the war, gays. You've won the war. In Citibank and who was the other one? MasterCard and Pepsi and all the others, they don't worry anymore about the backlash because they know that we have a nation full of normal gay people who are going to be like, yeah, we can see that that's a money grab on the part of a specific group of homosexual Americans who refuse to give up the industry they've created, which is the gay pride industry. It's that myth. It's the myth. It's the myth that LGBT people are still oppressed. It's the myth that they're still persecuted anywhere outside of fucking rural Georgia. Well, God damn it, if you're gay in rural Georgia, move to fucking Atlanta and start cutting hair. You'll have a baller life. All right, I'm done. All right, there you go. That's my whole thing on, why it's not a big deal that these major corporate brands are now dropping out of gay pride parades. Shit, I'd like to be a gay man. I would have, if I was a gay man, I wouldn't be such a loser. I promise you that. I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means. I just feel like if I was gay, maybe I'd dress better. I don't know. Here we are. All right, let's keep going. Let's see here. Where are we going now? More Shador stuff. Oh, yeah. Let's listen to a little bit more Shador stuff. What is this now? This comes to us, the Shador Sanders falling in the draft. It's been a big sports topic. I am so pleased. Look, we crushed the whole it's a racial thing. That's over. They tried to make it a whole racial rallying thing. And by they, I don't know who they are, but they are the people who start trouble and try to divide us at every turn. He tried to make it a racial thing, but then it was just like there were too many people who were like, fucker, this isn't racial. This guy's an asshole. That's why people didn't want to deal with him. So anyway, here's something interesting. This is another guy spouting some insider information. Now, I happen to like this guy. I've met him a couple of times, and I think he's a good dude. He's like a good dude. Now, you may not like his style on the air or whatever, and that's understandable. But this comes to us. This is Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd talking about the Shador situation.
There were two other things that came out that I hadn't heard of. These are huge factors. So a lot of times when you go to these combine meetings, teams give you things to challenge you. Teams will have a player's worst plays ready for him, and they'll show him his worst plays and say, hey, why don't you explain them? And Shador apparently didn't take to it well. And at one point, one of the few teams that actually was interested in him said, well, what do you make of this really bad play? And Shador said, maybe I'm not the guy for you. That's not the answer. Since there were only 3 or 4 teams in the first round that were going to consider it, now that Pittsburgh apparently has a deal with Aaron Rodgers, so take them out. Another moment, what they do during the film and the combine and the meetings is teams will install mistakes intentionally planted in the install, and they want you to catch them. Shador didn't, and when a coach called him out, once again, it didn't sit well. It's like, bro, there's not many teams needing quarterbacks, especially since Pittsburgh appears to have a deal with Aaron Rodgers, and Tennessee's getting...
There you go. More examples of how he just behaved like an entitled asshole. Again, you want to play that race card and say that, the white NFL didn't draft a outspoken black. Oh, shut up. The white NFL. Every GM is black now. Again, stop it with this shit. Not every GM, but let's be honest. I mean, it's not, you can't really point to the NFL right now and say that they're the way they were 20 years ago. They were pretty white 20 years ago, but it's pretty well, do I say integrated? I don't know. Fucking, there are a lot of great African-American football players who know a lot about football who just over time have matriculated after their playing days to the highest order of football. He wasn't taken because he was a dick. That's why I wasn't taken. All right. We also have a wrap up on the prank phone call. Remember the prank phone call? Remember that kid? The kid draft night when Shador was sliding, some kid got Shador Sanders' phone number and decided to crank him and pretended to be the general manager of the New Orleans Saints and then basically hung up on him. Yeah, we're going to take you. No, we're not. Psych, click. And it was embarrassing and it went viral. Went viral because Shador's team put it out and made it viral. And the kid didn't. But the kid turned out to be somebody who had access to Shador's number because his daddy is the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons, Jeff Ulbrich. The defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons, kid Jax. Every kid named Jax is an asshole. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Sorry. Every kid named Jax is an asshole. They were named Jax after a parent who liked Sons of Fucking Anarchy. And that's a good show, but you don't name your kid. Anyway. Jax Ulbrich, the 21-year-old son of defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich, got his number when Jeff, the defensive coordinator, left an iPad open over Easter. The kid took it. The kid made the prank phone call. Kid apologized. Kid's like, I'm so sorry, and blah, 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 and okay. Kid got his ass kicked by his dad. Okay. Shador was gracious. Did you hear Shador? I don't have it handy. But Shador, he said, hey, man, he said something weird, though. Here's what Shador said. Shador said, he's a kid. Kids make mistakes. It's not a big deal. Shador handled it well. Well, I'm sure people have been in Shador's ear for the past 72 hours about, okay, you're not going to, you're now, you ever seen the Seinfeld episode Opposite Day? That's where George Costanza decides to do the opposite of every one of his instincts, and it turns out his life gets immediately better. Well, I think that's what somebody said to Shador Sanders. They said, look, let's sit down and watch this episode of Seinfeld. I want you to be opposite George. And Shador's saying all the right things. So good for him. However, the NFL has come down. The NFL is now levying a fine of $100,000. I think it's the Atlanta Falcons are being fined $250,000. The Atlanta Falcons are being fined $250,000. Their brand new defensive coordinator is being fined $100,000. So that just tells you what DCs in the NFL make. That dude's probably making a couple million. He's probably making $1 million. Actually, I don't know what Jeff Ulbrich would make because I don't know who he is. But I know that he makes more than $200,000 because they ain't taking 50% of his paycheck over this. So he's probably up over $1 million. The NFL is going to fine him personally $100,000. And again, this fucking kid, man. Now the dad's like, you fucker. You know what? Now you're going to get $100,000 less when I die. There you go. I'm going to make sure whatever is left when I die, kid, you'll get all of it but $100,000, and that $100,000 is going to be donated to I don't know, whatever. Man, I'm getting tired. I didn't get great sleep last night. How's the weather? Is it still fucking nuts? All right, let's talk about this. Let's move on to this story. This is a good story that happened last night. I think we might get into this maybe on Shock House tonight. I don't know. We got to figure out what we're going to talk about. Aside from CC eating his boogers and Keith being the biggest Nico Harrison fan in town. Sir, it's weird. I mean, last week he was wearing like a Nico for President t-shirt, and before we started recording, we were like, Keith, take that off. Dude, the fuck. We're trying to launch a new show. We don't need people thinking we've got the one Nico Harrison supporter in town, and now we got CC eating boogers? Get out of here. Shock House tonight at 6:00. We'll get into all that stuff. And maybe this. Did you see the situation with Giannis Antetokounmpo last night and Tyrese Halliburton's dad, John Halliburton? It was a game, NBA. What a fine playoff game between the Bucks and the Indianapolis Pacers. The Indianapolis Pacers won it in overtime. They won it in overtime on a shot by Tyrese Halliburton. And as the Pacers were celebrating the elimination of the one-time NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks and the great Giannis Antetokounmpo, Tyrese Halliburton's father got in Antetokounmpo's face and started waving a towel with the picture of his son, Tyrese Halliburton, and saying, this is how we fucking do. This is how we, or words to that effect. Okay, so we're going to watch this. I mean, my God, what the hell? Who the fuck is Tyrese Halliburton's daddy out there on the court creating this mess? All right, let's watch it. This is going to be, well, we'll show you the close-up, and then we'll show you from far away how it started. It'll give a little bit more context. This is, I think, the clip that everybody's talking about. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo and Tyrese Halliburton's father coming face-to-face after what I just described happened. You see Giannis, this is Giannis's hand. Okay, bald guy. See the bald guy's head right here. This is Giannis's hand. Giannis is reaching his hand out to shake Tyrese's father's hand after Tyrese's father just ran up in his face, waved the towel, all that stuff. So let's watch this. This is what most people are seeing. And then there's a second angle that we'll also see. Okay, right now, Tyrese is saying something to him. Here's another thing, though. Watch this bitch. This woman right here actually takes a poke at Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, I don't know if she's like Tyrese Halliburton's stepmom or whatever. Tyrese Halliburton's elementary school bus driver. I don't know who this woman is. But Jesus, look at her. She takes a swing at Antetokounmpo. Watch her. Right there. She just took a swing at Giannis Antetokounmpo, this bitch. All right, so one more time. Here you go. He's saying something to him. They're being, alpha males. This woman is listening. Look at her face. She's like, what did he say? Whatever she's doing, she's taking the side of this fucknut. This national disgrace, Tyrese Halliburton's dad. Get your ass off the floor, dude. You didn't win anything. This is what we do. Oh, fuck you. I hate those fans. I don't do that. I'm a Bear fan. I don't refer to them as we. I'm not on the fucking team, okay? It's them. It's our team. My team, but I'm not one of we, okay? I'm not getting a goddamn NBA ring. Although maybe Tyrese Halliburton's dad is. All right, here you go. Fucking lunch lady taking a poke. All right, then it turns into nothing. We're broken up. So there you go. All right, now let's see it from a distance. Let's see how it started. This is the end of the game. This is when the court gets stormed, and this is when we see, and I'm going to point this out to you, so be watching for my cursor. Is that what it's called, a cursor? Be watching for that. Here you go. All right, so here I'm going to need to direct your attention to, here's Giannis. All right, you see my cursor? Here's Giannis right here. I do not see Tyree. Oh, is this Tyree's dad? Here he is. He's already on the court. Look at him. He has stormed the court because he's an entitled dad of a player. Good player. I like Tyree. All right, so here you see he's walking around. He's holding the towel. The towel has his son's face on it. Giannis has just been eliminated from the playoffs. Giannis is probably leaving Milwaukee, the place where he was an MVP, the place where he won a title. This might be his last moment in a Bucks uniform. He is standing there, and now he's got to deal with asshole Jones, okay? Here comes Tyree Halliburton's dad. Giannis just standing here considering his NBA future. All right, so now we got him. He's standing right in front of him. Look, he's waving the towel, shaking the towel, taunting the towel. He's the one moving towards Giannis. Giannis is just standing there like, fool, get off the court. This guy is talking fucking shit. And now we've got a Bucks player, another Bucks player who's like, oh, fuck. We don't need Giannis in his last time in a Bucks uniform, killing fucking Halliburton's dad. So now this guy comes in to break it up. All right, and now this is where we see that first close-up one, where they were close up. This is where that starts. The thing, Giannis never moved. Giannis stood there. This all started around him. All right, there you have it. He's sitting there. He's talking shit. Where's that woman at? Let me see if I can find that woman. When does she get involved in this bullshit? Okay, so right now the group is forming around them. Where's the woman come from? These are cheerleaders. These are Pacer girls. No, it cuts out too soon. It always does that with these things. All right, so how did the league react to that? Let's see. There was quite a dust-up there on the NBA postgame show between Charles and Shaq. Shaq is a fucking moron. He's always been a moron. He's a fun moron, but he's still a moron. Charles had a more normal person take
It
him.
don't matter.
Supposed to be on the he's not supposed to be on the court. He's not supposed to be on the court.
Giannis talked to him. Forget all that.
No, he was on the court.
So what?
You think he said something? He probably know who his dad is.
Stop it. Giannis said something
No,
to him.
because he's on the court in his face.
So what?
No,
Everybody on
you
the
can't
court.
do that.
Yeah, you can.
No,
Everybody
you
on the
cannot
court.
do that.
Giannis said something to him.
So you think his dad?
All right, hold on. So just so we know context, Shaq is arguing that Tyree Halliburton's dad did nothing wrong coming out on the floor, waving the thing in front of Giannis. Fucking Shaq doesn't like Giannis. All right, that's what it is. Giannis is better than Shaq, and Shaq doesn't like that. So anyway, Shaq is taking up for Tyree Halliburton. He's taking an absurd point of view, or John Halliburton. He's taking an absurd point of view that Giannis Antetokounmpo started it. Now, we watched the video. Giannis didn't even know who this fool was. His back was to him. He was standing there contemplating his future in the NBA, and this fucknut runs in front of him and starts waving a towel in his face. And somehow Shaq is now trying to float the bullshit, nonsense lie that Giannis started it and was talking to him first. We just watched the fucking tape.
That was
great.
No, his dad was 100% wrong.
Giannis is wrong? Bro, Giannis said something to him.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
No, he not.
Look, right there.
No, his
Giannis
dad is coming
talking
up to him. What
Giannis
is his dad doing on the court?
Giannis
His dad is not supposed to be on the court.
dad is
You
always
can yell
on the
as
court
much you
every
want
game.
to. He's an idiot. If you think that's right, you're an idiot too.
Giannis said something to him.
No, that's not
Giannis said
true.
something to him.
No,
You lose
I'm
the
just
Grace
telling
and
you.
go home.
That dad is an idiot, and
No,
if you
he's
think
not.
he's an
No,
idiot,
he's
you're an
not.
idiot too.
I
will say that no.
His dad is always on the court.
No,
Sure,
no,
Giannis
I will
is
say this.
His dad is always on the court, so it's okay, says Shaq. Well, his dad shouldn't ever be on the court. And I think they maybe just allowed his dad to come out on the court all this time because Tyree Halliburton is a very important player to the Pacers franchise. So I could see how they would just look the other way. But looking the other way while having your fingers crossed that he never does some shit like this, right? They didn't think they had John Morant's dad. They got Tyree Halliburton's dad. And he acted like an asshole. And now Shaq is trying to argue this incredible Trumpian argument, and it is, when it makes no fucking sense. He's trying to argue that because they never They never said he couldn't do it before, then it must be okay for people to come out on the floor. Or is Shaq trying to argue that no, it's not okay for people to come out on the floor? But if you're the parent of one of the players, sure, come on out. Special rule. Fuck you, Shaq. Shaq's an idiot. Shaq is a big, dumb retard. Let's be honest. He always has.
We all have met his dad, and he has.
His
but
dad's
he's
always
wrong.
on the court.
He
No,
shouldn't
be on the
because
court.
You don't have an entitlement because your son is playing to be on the court.
Hold on, time out. He's
There's no
always on the
entitlement.
court.
He shouldn't
knows
have
the
an
court.
entitlement.
I don't care. He's always on the court.
should not
And that makes it okay. Because he's always Bill Cosby defense. He's always out there raping, Your Honor. He's always out there raping. Why is it a problem now?
be on the court talking to other players.
Bro, Giannis said something to him. He didn't say
came up
nothing
to
to Giannis.
Giannis.
No, he did not.
No, that's not.
He came up to Giannis. We saw the video. He came up to Giannis. All right. Shaq is an asshole. He's an idiot. I enjoy him. I'll be honest. I'll enjoy him because, you know, he says dumb shit, but he is an idiot. Let's stop pretending like when Shaq and Charles get into fights, it is always Charles who has the normal dude point of view. And it's always Shaq who's got some stupid, oh, Shaq, bro, I can say whatever I want because I'm 15 feet tall. That's how this dude has gone through life. Nobody fucks with me ever, and I say everything. And when I say stupid shit, all the white people around me laugh. I'm like Richard Pryor. I'm hysterical. That's who fucking Shaq is. Fucking idiot. Ugh. All right. So let's get rid of that. But now let's see Giannis. Giannis was obviously asked about this in the post game. Again, Shaq fucking hates Giannis, right? Where is? Oh, here it is. Shaq fucking hates Giannis. And Shaq would have us all believe that that Giannis Antetokounmpo is the kind of NBA player. No, strike that. The kind of human being that would just randomly start shit talking with either a fan or, you know, the father of a player. That's not Giannis, man. Giannis is a cool dude. Giannis is a respectful young man. Well, he's 30. He's 30. Anyway, he's a respectful guy. He's not a troublemaker. He's a tough competitor. He is an incredible guy out there to have on your team. But he's not known to be an asshole, okay? And Shaq is trying to make it seem like, well, Giannis is an asshole. He started it. He went up to him. So let's listen to Giannis's post-game press conference about all of this, okay? This is just who the man is. Hold on. Let me see if we can get
I don't really see you as someone that gets into it with people after the game. It looked like you were kind of standing there by the three-point.
I don't really see you as the kind of person who gets into it with people. Oh, Shaq is on national TV trying to pretend like this is who Giannis is.
And then all of a sudden you're in the middle of kind of everything. Just what happened kind of out on the floor after the game?
Nothing. This is the last time I'm going to say. I won't talk a lot. We lost the game. It doesn't really matter. One thing I'll say is that I believe like being humble in victory. That's how I am. Now there can be a lot of people out there that are like, no, when you win the game, you gotta talk shit, and you know it's a green light for you to be disrespectful towards somebody else. I disagree. I've won the championship. They haven't. Okay, and that doesn't say anything. I'm not trying to minimize their effort, but I remember when I won, my mom that she's never missed the games from February 11th or 13th when she came in Milwaukee against the Knicks. She never missed a game. When we won the championship, I remember my mom, she was scared to cross. She was like, am I allowed to come and hug my son? I see, except now my brother does media. For this year, he wants to come back and play. But like, except in that, you've never seen my family like see courtside. See, this is not something that we do. We don't. I try to keep my family away from the game. But losing the game, emotions run high. Having a fan, which at the moment I thought he was a fan, but then I realized it was Tyrese's son, which I love. Tyrese, I think he's a great competitor. He was his dad, sorry. Coming in the floor and showing me his son a towel with his face. This is what we do. This is what we effing do. This is the F we do. This. I feel like that's very, very disrespectful. You know, my dad my dad, if you guys go and ask and learn, my dad's not with us no more.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna stop it there. I'm gonna stop it there. If you want to see the rest of that amazing post game talk, you can. And I would suggest you listen to what he has to say about his father who died, and he talks about without in any way, trying to get a pound of flesh out of the Halliburtons. He just talks about the way he was raised, and he talks about the way his father carried himself. And it's actually quite beautiful. It's actually quite beautiful. And Giannis Antetokounmpo is a class act, okay? You know who's not? Tyree Halliburton's father. Tyree Halliburton's father seems like a jerk off, okay? However, we do have to give credit where credit is. John Halliburton is speaking out this morning about the incident between him and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Here is what John Halliburton, the father of Tyrese Halliburton, says. He says, I sincerely want to apologize to Giannis, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Pacers organization. He had to get the Pacers organization in there because the Pacers organization are the people who were blowing up his phone last night going, you motherfucker, you have caused a problem for us. So that's why he's getting the Pacer organization in there. He says, I sincerely apologize to Giannis, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Pacer organization for my actions following tonight's game. This was not a good reflection on our sport or my son, and I will not make that mistake again. All right, so he apologized without, having to be, without 15 tweets going, no, that fucking guy started, none of that shit. He just, next morning, probably got talked to by the head of PR for the Pacers, and then, he issued that statement. So, okay, there you go. All right, let's do this. I told you I was going to bring it back, so we'll bring it back here. Douche of the day. Oh, you know what? I still have that sound effect somewhere. The great David Stone. David Stone used to be our voiceover guy at 105.3, and he made us this stinger, this douche of the day stinger. It was really cool. I used to love it. Don't have it anymore. Or actually, I do. I just don't have it handy. All right, let's do today's douche of the day. This is where we take a look at somebody who is in the news, maybe not a big headline news story, but somebody who made the news today for a reason that is just, oh, you fucking douche. What did you do? Oh. All right, so let's get into this story, huh? Here's today's douche of the day. We go halfway around the world. Actually, we don't go halfway around the world. Isn't this all the way around the world? No, because all the way around the world would be right back to where we started. So we are going halfway around the world. Let me show you where we're going to here for today's douche of the day. Here we go. Look at that. You know what that is? That is the glorious Mount Fuji, the highest peak in all of Japan, which isn't saying much because Japan's like the size of Plano. Isn't it? I mean, Japan's not that big. How big is Japan? Is the island of Japan bigger than Texas? I don't know. Somebody in the chat room, Google that. So we're going to go to Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji, the beautiful Mount Fuji there in Tokyo. Is it Tokyo? I don't know. It's probably not fucking Tokyo, but I'm not from there, so I'm just going to say Tokyo. Mount Fuji. There you go. Here's our douche of the day story. So a student mountain climber climbs mountains, and he's a student. He's a 27-year-old student. That right there. We're like, what are you doing, son? You're 27. 27-year-old Chinese student. Oh, he's Chinese. He's not even from Japan. 27-year-old Chinese student had to be rescued from Mount Fuji. All right. And that's going to happen, right? Everybody's out there. They're like, I'm going to climb that mountain because I'm an alpha. I don't want to fucking climb a mountain. I don't want to go hiking. Dude, you want to go for a walk in the woods? No. Dude, you want to go for a walk in the woods that's all uphill? Fuck no. I'm not going mountain climbing. It's all uphill. Well, the way down. Oh, fuck you. I'm not going to survive on the way down. Not going mountain climbing. Anyway, this 27-year-old alpha Chinese student, still in school at 27, he goes up there and he gets stuck. Something happens. His climbing gear isn't working right, and he gets his cell phone and he has to call I don't know. What was that movie? What was that? Cliffhanger? Remember that movie? Remember that Stallone movie, Cliffhanger, from the 90s? They have to call Stallone. He's got to fire up the helicopter, and they got to come and they got to pull him off this fucking mountain. This 27-year-old student from China. All right, so they take him down. He goes to the hospital. He's fine, right? He just got stuck, a little scared, some bruises, some of that shit, right? But, you know, it was a big thing. They had to muster the troops. They had to go up there on the Mount Fuji. They had to save this guy who's going to die. 27-year-old Chinese student. All right, so that was last week. So a couple of days ago, same dude had to be rescued again from Mount Fuji. He went back. This fucking guy. Douche of the day. He went back a second time. He just got rescued. He couldn't do it. And he's like, I don't know. I think I can do it. And he went and he tried again, like a week later. Here's the story. The rescue of a 27-year-old Chinese student from Mount Fuji has produced a wave of criticism in Japan. Oh, you think? To be clear, people aren't mad that he had to be rescued. They're mad that he had to be rescued twice in the same month. Wait till you hear why he had to be rescued a second time. So, like you're thinking, okay, so what is this, ego? This is like, the mountain's not going to beat me. Like, is it that? Because if it was that, it might even be more admirable. No, that ain't fucking why he had to be rescued a second time. The first rescue we'll take you to, okay? The first rescue occurred, Japanese authorities received a call for help from the student. His name has not been revealed publicly. This was back on April 22nd. He told first responders that he had developed altitude sickness while climbing, a term used to describe what happens when your body doesn't have enough time to adjust to changes in altitude or oxygen. Let's see. And he also reported to authorities that his climbing irons were damaged. He was airlifted off the slopes and taken to an area hospital. All right. We're so glad we were able to save you. We love that people come and admire the beauty of our natural wonder in Mount Olympus or Mount Fuji. And man, boy, oh boy, you tried to tackle Fuji and you didn't make it. And we came and got you. And oh, well, we're okay. We're built for that. We're built for a couple of people a year to make that mistake. So we're glad you're fine. And we're glad we rescued you. Now, go back to China and finish that degree you've been working on for 27 years. But no, he didn't do that. And do you want to know why? 27 years old, what would that make him? Would that make him a Gen Zer, or would that still make him a millennial? 27, he's a millennial, right? He's a millennial. Oh, fuck. 27. So why'd he go back? He left his phone. He left his phone! He left his phone on the mountain, and he really wanted his phone back, so he went back to look for his phone. Now, this time was way more serious than the first time because the altitude sickness struck him again, and this time he passed out. Why? Because he didn't have his phone. He didn't have his phone. He had no one to call. This fucking guy. But luckily for him, another climber found him laying there, unconscious, don't know how long he's been there. And then that person had a phone and that person called. All right, here's the second rescue. 4 days later, 4 days after being rescued, 4 days later on April the 26th, the student was back on the Fujiyama Trail, located about 10,000 feet above sea level on Mount Fuji. He was on a quest to find his phone. Idiot. I mean, now we can kind of see why he's 27 and still in school. He was on a quest to find his phone and other belongings that he had left behind during the first rescue. But going back wasn't a good idea. Oh, you think? See, because he developed altitude sickness again, and this time became unable to move and paralyzed. He was found by another climber, unconscious, and had to be rescued once more. All right, so people in Japan are pissed. This is obviously a big story. Let me just tell you something. People in Japan don't need a lot of reasons to be angry at the Chinese. For some weird reason, the people of Japan, this tiny little island country, right? The people of Japan have both hated and dominated the people of China for like millennia. It's forever. For some reason, it's like you take all the badasses in that region and you put them in Japan. And they've been conquering that region from their little island. Actually, no, I'm starting to put this all together. I think the Japanese in that part of the world throughout time has kind of had that same advantage that the Brits have had over Europe, that they are ultimately an island nation. And if you can build up your island defenses before airplanes and shit, How do you get to them? All right. Anyway, that's our douche of the day. An unnamed 27-year-old Chinese student who had to be rescued twice. Kind of wish I had Kelly to riff on that with, right? That's kind of a different version of douche of the day without going back and forth with Kelly. All right. Let's get to it. No, that's not going to do it. I'm going to leave you with something. We're going to leave you with something. Indulge me. This is just something that I like and maybe you like too, but it is absolutely brilliant. Let's watch it together. Why not? Because I'm going to watch it anyway because I haven't seen the whole thing yet. It's 3 minutes. I don't know. Are you guys at all fans of the Righteous Gemstones? If you listen to this show, you know, I've been telling you that this show is so fucking funny. This show is so crazy. It is so absurd. It takes place in the world of Christian televangelism. The Gemstones are think of the Osteens. The Gemstones are the Osteens, right? They're a with a little bit of Graham maybe mixed in, you know, a little Billy Graham kind of action. They own theme parks, so maybe a little bit of Jim Baker and Tammy Faye, whatever. That's who the Gemstones are. John Goodman. Who doesn't love John Goodman? He plays Eli Gemstone. He is the main guy. He is the main preacher. And the show's about his retarded kids. Is like 3 fucking kids who are also preachers, who are next generation Gemstone televangelist superstars. And they've all been raised as rich snobs and all that. It's actually so funny. But within this family is an uncle. Okay. And the uncle is played by Walton Goggins. Now, again, if you listen to the show with any regularity, you know that I just love me some Walton Goggins. I think he's the most interesting actor in Hollywood. He's the best character actor. He's the best character actor I have ever seen, short of Peter Sellers. Boom. As far as a guy who creates characters, and you know what? I'm considering his dramatic roles to be characters that he created too. Every character you create doesn't have to be a Saturday Night Live character. Every character you create doesn't have to be Baby Billy from the Righteous Gemstones. Walton Goggins created Shane Vandrell from The Wire, or from The Shield, I should say, who was this just demonically twisted and corrupt Los Angeles police officer. That was incredible. He follows that up on Sons of Anarchy with another one of his incredible characterizations, Venus the Penis, the transsexual prostitute that the Sons of Anarchy biker gang used to lure guys into like blackmail tapes and stuff. Walton Goggins as Venus the Penis. Hysterical. A total trip, big boobs, you know, just funny. That big giant Goggins horse mouth. Then Vice Principals with, and then Hateful Eight. He's working for Quentin Tarantino. He steals that fucking movie, The Hateful Eight, as just the incorrigibly evil gunslinger. It's fucking scary. What's the movie where he plays the man from the future with the zombie face? The HBO show. I can't remember what it's called. He just crushed it on that. Then he plays this weird guy in this season of The White Lotus. And now, of course, we still have him as Baby Billy Freeman. Baby Billy Freeman is one of the Gemstones. He is the brother of the late Mother Gemstone. Eli Gemstone, John Goodman's character, was married to a woman, a Tammy Faye, if you will, and she passed away. She's the kid's mama. But before she was a big evangelical with the Gemstones, she was a famous Christian singer on the Christian circuit in the 1970s and 60s and 1950s. Her and her brother, Baby Billy. Baby Billy was like a little 10-year-old kid. He used to come out at these Christian revivals and he would do a song and dance. Okay, so now in the world of Righteous Gemstones, Baby Billy, played by Walton Goggins, is 70 years old. And he still goes by Baby Billy because he milks whatever. He was famous back then, and he's not famous anymore, but people remember when he was a kid, so he's a 70-year-old man going by Baby Billy. Okay. So that's the greatest character that Walton Goggins has ever built out of a career of just stone cold amazing characters. They're all different. That's how incredibly talented he is. Anyway, so Baby Billy has become the breakout star of the Righteous Gemstones. Baby Billy convinced Eli, John Goodman, the head of the Gemstones. Baby Billy convinced Eli to give him a TV show on the Gemstones network. And they were throwing him a bone. Uncle Sad, Baby Billy. He's a drug addict. He's a con man. Give him a show. He's got a show. We'll give him a show, whatever. The show became a massive hit. You want to know how big a hit? In the fake world of Righteous Gemstones, it's like the biggest Christian television show in history. but it has. I saw a person at North Park Mall last weekend wearing a Baby Billy Bible Bonkers t-shirt, and I thought that's the coolest son of a bitch in Dallas. Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers. It's a complete ripoff of Family Feud. It's exactly like Family Feud, except for Baby Billy calls it Bible Bonkers. And it's a very funny, it's a game show. It's a Christian game show. It's very funny. Again, this is the character that Walton Goggins has created. So now that Bible Bonkers has become a big hit, Baby Billy is now got the agency within the Gemstones network to just pitch shows and get new shows made. His newest show is Teen Gist. It's a 90210 style young adult coming of age story about Jesus in high school. Teen Gist. Now, 70-year-old Baby Billy is the writer, creator, and executive producer of Teen Gist, and he got mad at the star, the 15-year-old who was playing teenage Jesus, so Baby Billy fired him and is now portraying Teen Jesus. That's right, 70-year-old Baby Billy is now the star of the TV show Teen Jesus. On Sunday, I want to show this to you. This is crazy. This is a reason to watch the show. So on Sunday, they were showing, one of the scenes in Sunday's episode of the Gemstones was Baby Billy in production on the new Teen Jesus. Okay, I want to show you this. This is a musical number for the coming of age teen show Teen Gist, hosted by 70-year-old Baby Billy Freeman. This is their song "Turn the Other Cheek." Okay, they actually did a big production number. I want you to watch this. This is the craziest, fucking off the wall. All right, so here you go. The reason I mention this is because this song apparently on Spotify is the fastest rising song, not on Christian charts, but on dance charts or something. I don't have to look that up, but that's the story that I'm pulling this from. So here you go. This is one of the hottest songs in America right now from Sunday night's Righteous Gemstones, from the television show, the fictional television show, Teen Gist, the story of Teen Jesus. Here is 70-year-old Walton Goggins, or 70-year-old Baby Billy Freeman. Walton's my age, but he's playing a 70-year-old character, playing a 15-year-old Jesus. Here you go. And this song is burning it up.
You ain't got what it takes, Teen Gist.
What'd you say?
We got this dance contest in the bag.
Oh, yeah? Who you think you talking to, son? We gonna win this contest right here. Let's go! Woo! Oh! When we hit the floor, yeah, we turning hardcore. Gonna settle every score. Gonna win this holy war. To a groove that's so divine, turning water into wine. And when you lose your mind, we gon' turn the other cheek.
Turn the other cheek. Turn it. All the way around. Turn the other cheek. Turn it all the way around.
My only son, this battle must be won. So I give you the power to heal.
I got your miracle right here, nerd. I pronounce you healed. Come on, drop them damn crutches. Get to dancing.
Turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek. Turn it. All the way around. Turn the other cheek. Those suckers don't stand a chance.
Those suckers don't stand a chance. Got that spirit in my pants.
Oh, Teen Gist.
Ha ha! Eli, you gonna participate in the scene? You just gonna stand there looking like you had a damn stroke?
Damn it, Baby Billy. I told you this wasn't my thing.
I can see that. It's a spectacle. You got to react to it. Open your mouth in shock or just smile with some glee. You know, some human shit.
You just don't think I'm in the mood.
Fuck it.
All right. There you have it. Turn the other cheek. Teen Gist. That's my favorite song. It's going to be my song of the summer. I'll be out there on Lake Louisville. We'll be cranking that out of Ease Boat. Turn the other cheek. Drop them crutches, nerd. All right, so that's all just setting the scene. I want to show you something. And we're going to watch this. This is how brilliant. They are really like, they've created something in this Walton Goggins character of Baby Billy Freeman. The Righteous Gemstones, with the producers or whoever it is, it's them. They've created a documentary about the life of Baby Billy Freeman, played by Walton Goggins, who we just saw there in that. Let's watch a little bit of this. I haven't seen it. I think this is just a 3-minute clip. Maybe this is all there is. I don't know. I'm going to go looking around for more. But here, let's watch this. This is a new documentary about the life of Baby Billy Freeman. All right, here we go. Let's see. Let's watch this. Here we go. This is too good. This is too good.
Everybody, good God Almighty, it's my favorite time of the year.
From child prodigy to geriatric curiosity,
I was always destined to be famous.
Baby Billy Freeman has been a persistent force in non-denominational faith-based edutainment for nearly 70 years. Through success,
I love me some Baby Billy.
obscurity,
I want to heal as many people as the dear Lord will let me.
I don't think any of us could have foreseen what he's built and what he's done.
and finally, resurrection.
God said it ain't your time, baby Billy.
Faith Tonight presents Uplifting Figures, Baby Billy Freeman.
Daddy said don't, but I said I'm gonna misbehave.
I just need to say something. I need to interrupt something here. So throughout the course of the Righteous Gemstones, this song that they're playing here, the song that's, by the way, Amy Lou, or is it Amy Lee? Amy Lee Gemstone. She's the dead wife of John Goodman and the mother of all the assholes. She's Baby Billy's sister, and they had a career, and they had a bunch of Christian pop hits in the 70s and the 60s. This particular song, Misbehaving, I've probably heard couple 100 times because I've rewatched Gemstone. They really pushed this song starting from the first season. As to this was Amy Lee Gemstone's big hit with her brother Baby Billy, Misbehaving. And it's another, if I'm being honest, it's another banger.
Billy Freeman.
Misbehaving.
Daddy said don't, but I said I'm gonna misbehave.
Tonight we catch up with Baby Billy on the set of his much-anticipated new series.
So you created a huge hit.
Huge hit.
With Bible Bonkers.
The biggest hit.
Let's go. Bible Bonkers.
I wasn't surprised at all. I knew that was going to be a hit.
I've always had ideas like this. Always. That's how my mind has always worked. I only know one speed, and that's rabbit on a lawnmower. Ain't no turtle here.
Can we just point out this motherfucker would have crushed on Saturday Night Live? Could you imagine? He's hosting this week. That's right, Walton Goggins. I think it's this week, right? It's this week or next week, whatever. Walton Goggins is going to be hosting Saturday Night Live in the next couple of weeks. It's been announced. Here we go.
Well, you've seen Family Feud. It's that. It's that he kind of took that idea. Legally, he didn't.
With the hottest theological quiz show in the world, Baby Billy isn't about to take a day of rest.
You know, it takes just one success, and then all of a sudden, your phone won't stop ringing. Currently, I'm working on a young adult television show that came from my imagination. Teen Just set a time in Jesus' life as a teenager.
They think you're nothing more than a carpenter's son.
If I win the village dance contest, through my moves and swagger, I'll show them I'm the chosen one.
Always up to mischief, are you, Teen Just? You're late for class.
People love history, and people want to know what it was like to go to high school during Jesus' time.
We are praying for its success.
Cut! Why are you mumbling? You Teen Just now. Say it with authority. Go again.
What is the pressure on you to write, produce, direct?
Well, and also star.
Oh, star?
Take these damn kids off my knee. Guess I'm gonna have to do everything around here. Go on, sit down. Sit down! Nobody could play him the way that I could play him.
I think it's asinine. Dude's what, 116 years old, playing a teenager?
Turn the other cheek.
Despite his advanced age, Baby Billy's vision for a media empire knows no bounds.
It's costing me quite a bit of money, a lot of money.
Is there an expiration date on one's imagination? I say not. I'm just hitting my stride.
I haven't seen him sleep in a while.
How else would you enjoy success? You got to keep it rolling.
my God. Well, there you have it. My little tribute to baby Billy Freeman. He is the greatest. By the way, when with that young girl, the girl with the red hair, I ain't seen him sleep, and that's his wife. That's Tiffany. She's like 20. He's 70. And somehow that distance still isn't as creepy as Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. Yeah, that's his young wife. He's got a child, and the joke there is I haven't seen him sleep in day. The joke there is because baby Billy is a cocaine addict. Baby Billy goes through like an 8-ball every couple of hours. He is constantly doing blow and getting another crazy idea. Walton Goggins, baby Billy Freeman. What did he say when he demanded the green light from the Gemstones television network for his pitch for the show Teen Gist? His pitch was this: all I need is $2 million and an 8-ball. Come on now. And they gave him $8 million and an 8-ball of cocaine. And now Teen Gist is a thing. God, he's so funny. God, I can't wait for him to host Saturday Night Live. Let's see, when is he hosting Saturday Night Live? Let's find out. SNL Walton Goggins. There we go. Look at that. SNL Walton Goggins. Walton Goggins hosting SNL after White Lotus parody drama, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but when? When is he hosting? All right, this comes to us from today.com. Walton Goggins applauds SNL skit mocking White Lotus co-star Amy Lee Wood amid feud rumors. Goggins, who played Wood's love interest on the last season of The White Lotus, praised an SNL spoof of the show that mocked Wood's appearance. All right, I know they were so lovely together. When is he hosting? Let's see here. Does it say? Here. This is Amy Lou. Amy Lou was darling. That's Amy Lou. See how she's kind of got big buck teeth? She's got like rabbit teeth. She's got like British teeth. But other than that, she's a fucking smoke show. You know, it's like she keeps her mouth shut. You're like, God, she's gorgeous. And throughout this season of the White Lotus, these two were a couple. They were a couple staying at the White Lotus Resort. She was she was a younger kind of party girl who he was obviously... Walton Goggins played kind of a sketchy guy. I don't know. He might be an arms dealer or something like that. You know, something sketchy. And she's like his young party girlfriend that he just drug along. And the first thing we see of her is she's in a bikini and she's super sexy. And then she turns the camera and she opens her mouth and you see those crazy chiclets that she's got going on. But I will tell you something. Throughout the course of the series, I'm like, oh, God, those teeth. Nope, deal breaker. Those teeth are a deal breaker. Throughout the course of this, I was like, no, you know what? She's a lovely woman. And I think that was the point. I think her character, look, those are her real teeth. They cast her, and they knew that character was very sweet. And, you know, you had to look past the teeth at some point. Anyway, they were a tumultuous couple in this season. And when Saturday Night Live did the parody, they had, the girl playing her, Amy Lou, with giant fucked up teeth. And Amy Lou went on Twitter and she said that it was hurtful and she didn't like it. And then Walton Goggins went on Twitter and was like, it's a pretty funny parody. I got to be honest with you. So now we're a little bit upset because they were such a lovely couple. They were a couple that in the beginning you were like, oh, this is a fucked up couple of losers. And who cares about them? But then by the end of the White Lotus this season, you're like, oh, no, I love them. I love that couple. Anyway, there she is. She's adorable. I can't wait to see her and whatever she does next. I still don't have an answer to my question. When is Walton Goggins hosting? Oh, let's see here. Because I know it was announced. Walton Goggins and Scarlett Johansson will host SNL's final season 50 episodes. Okay, there you go. This is what I'm looking for. The White Lotus and Righteous Gemstone star makes his hosting debut, while the Jurassic World Rebirth star, that's what you go with Scarlett Johansson? That's a movie that, whatever, will become a 7-timer in the finale. All right, so Scarlett Johansson's going to host the finale. That means the second to last live show for Saturday Night Live this season will be hosted by Walton Goggins, and I am hoping against hope that is this week. Let's see here. When Quintana Brunson hosts Saturday Night Live on May 3rd, fuck! All right, it ain't this week. It's Quintana Brunson. I don't think that's going to be a good show. Look, she's a very well-respected and highly regarded showrunner and creator for ABC, but she does network TV. She does sitcoms. I think she's going to appeal to the theater element. I think that episode will probably have a bunch of musical numbers, which are always terrible. Unlike the shows that'll be hosted by Walton Goggins. Walton Goggins is gonna stir the interest of the edgier writers. The edgier writers are gonna have ideas for him, and they're gonna play to him. So that'll be a good one. Scarlett Johansson will also be a good one. Because one, it's the final episode of the season, and that's always where they pull out all the big guns. And it's the final episode of the 50th season, so they'll probably close with a huge bang. And also, she's the head writer's wife, right? So it'll be a good show. They'll make sure that the best material. Colin Jost is not going to allow his wife to host for a 7th time in the final of the 50th season and then do a fucking shit show. No, it'll be fine. This weekend, though, I think Quintana Brunson might not be a good one. Not because of her. It's not because of her. It's because I think that she is going to appeal to. We have a split writers' room on Saturday Night Live, and it's troubling. There seems to be, you know, a contingent that is run by Bowen Yang, right? He seems to have a lot of outsized influence there, and he's very theatrical and he's very drama and he's very, you know. So that doesn't really appeal to me. So I hate it when we have Saturday Night Lives that seem that they are catering to him as the lead. But then there are some edgy motherfuckers, man. Those 3 guys that is it Please Don't Destroy? The Higgins boys. And there are 3 dudes who have a writer's room at Saturday Night Live who make these incredible videos every week. You've probably seen them. They're really funny. It's a redhead, a nerdy guy with glasses, and then, you know, some other guy who looks very generic. Anyway, those 3 dudes, they are 2nd generation Saturday Night Live Nepo babies. But those 3 guys, that's Higgins, Jim Higgins, Steve Higgins, I'm so sorry. Steve Higgins, who was a long-time head writer of Saturday Night Live during the Farley years and Sandler years. His kid is one of them. And then the other 2, I don't know, look into it. Anyway, it's fascinating. Those fuckers, those need to be the head writers of Saturday Night Live. Those 3 dudes have an edge. They aren't going to do any musical numbers that aren't really highly produced music video numbers, you know? Not like the other stuff, which is, you know, the non-pre-produced song and dance numbers that they do. I hate that shit. But I like the music parodies that are obviously produced and shot in the days before the show. Those are always good. Lonely Island stuff, you know, that kind of thing. Those are the guys. Any show where it looks like those guys are doing the bulk of the sketch writing, that's a good show. But any day that it looks like it's the Bowen Yang crew. Ugh. And I think we're going to get the Bowen Yang crew this weekend simply because of Quintana Brunson. What's that, Peter? Arcade Fire on May the 10th? That's going to be Arcade Fire then with Walton Goggins. All right, we're going to do it. We're going to end the show. It's 4:55. You people need to go home. Besides, in about an hour from now, we're going to do the 2nd episode of Shuck House Dallas. Skadoobity-doo. It's a song that I goes like this. I mean, that's just like straight up bull. I mean, this AI vocalization, it's an AI vocalization. He's doing a British accent, right? That's like a British punk rock kind of. It's a good thing. That's all I'm saying. All right. Like, follow, subscribe. We're going to get into some stuff today at 6 o'clock. I'm going to take an hour break. I'm probably going to go get something to eat. I would like to thank our executive producer of today's show. It was, of course, the great, the tireless Peter. Thank you so much, Peter. Saw Kim in the chat room earlier today. Hi, Peter. Hi, Kim. They're the couple. Thank you, Peter. If you want to help us out this week with Pledge Week, you can drop a little something in the Venmo or the Cash App. Please, please, please. Every little bit helps. Let's see if we can get to our goal before Friday so I don't have to shake that can all 5 days. I love you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.